Amy Stadium, round 5, and it's 12th on the ladder versus 17th. Port Adelaide up against the Gold Coast Suns. The Gold Coast Suns breaking through the banner, yet to have a victory in 2011. But they are primed for one with Gary Ablett front and square back into the lineup. Welcome to those joining us for the first time. Tony Shaw is with us for the broadcast, and hopefully the Gold Coast Suns can put up a competitive effort against a Port Adelaide team at home who are about to burst through their banner, and they are primed as well.
Well, they are, and they played a great game against Adelaide in the showdown. Fantastic win last week. A bad first quarter, but then last three were very competitive, and we can see Chaplin there. He'll be leading the side out for the first time because Dean Brogan has been omitted from the side due to injury. So Chaplin gets the chance of being captain for your club for the first time, which is a big thrill.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're coming off a fantastic victory last week against the Adelaide Crows in the showdown. So Port Adelaide's side is fairly settled for this week's contest.
Well, there's still enough great talent in that side, I think, to be competitive on their day, and they showed that last week. Great to see, I think, a couple of players in their forward line. Chad Corns was really good with his body language last week after being dropped earlier in the year. But Ebert played in the middle, matter of fact, Dwayne, last week. He, after quarter time, went in the middle, got some very good clearances for Adelaide, and Daniel Motlop just showed his enormous talent. So we can see Stewart in the ruck there. Brogan is a big loss, though. He's like their general out there. Here's some of the keys. I think they need a professional start, Port Adelaide, because just to show that they've got their minds right against this side where they think they should get a win, sometimes that doesn't turn around and say you go as hard as you can early in the game. Hard tag on Ablett. Ablett's their igniter, so if he gets into the game, can kick goals and just gets too much of the ball, he might get them flowing, so they've got to hard tag him. And the other thing, win the clearances. Even when they've won this year against like Adelaide last week, they haven't won the clearances. So they're the three areas of concern, I think, for Port Adelaide today.
Roden was fantastic last week. Daniel Motlop was pretty good as well. So they're the keys also for them personnel-wise.
Well, Roden's just, it's a great story, isn't it? 2 knee recos, the last surgery that he's had. And last week he was at his best, his evasive best. And they sort of got together a couple of times and kicked to a miraculous goal. So just a talented forward who you need to maybe spark you too when things are down.
Also joining us for the coverage today, 3-time Premiership superstar Alistair Lynch, and he's downstairs with Geelong best and fairest, Liam Pickering.
Thanks, Dwayne. Oh, yeah, magnificent conditions down here today. I mean, there's not a breath of wind and it's about 20, 21 degrees, so you'd expect to see some pretty highly skilled players out here today.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The Gold Coast boys will be used to these nice sunny conditions, but another tough ask for them, you'd think as well. But look, I mean, they need their experienced players to play well. We can see that. There's young Hutchins, who's coming to the side this afternoon for his first game. I think that's the 18th young player to debut this year.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see so many young stars coming through, and obviously they've dominated their way through the under-18 system. Have a look at the Gold Coast lineup. As you said, Hutchins there at full-back with the experience of Bocketts and half-back. Brennan, Dixon, Fraser up the spine. They don't look too bad, but plenty of youngsters around the fringe.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and that's what we like to see. I mean, they've got a couple of more players, the likes of Isles and Danny Stanley, those bigger bodies, Harris. They're the players that need to really play well against a team like Port Adelaide, who you can get into early. You always give yourself half a chance to beat them.
And Matt Shaw was a late withdrawal. He's out with a calf strain, and Maverick Weller comes into the side and he'll take his spot on the bench. Let's have a look at the 3 keys that we've had a look at and we'll focus on for today. And Troy Chapman's going to be a big focus.
Well, Troy Chapman's such a smart player. We saw what he did last week, reading it across half-back. You need to have a smart player on Troy Chaplin to make him accountable, because if he's allowed to just roam across half-back, he reads the game too well, so they need to put some time and work into him.
And the tackling pressure, I think this is one of the real keys that certainly as youngsters you still can tackle. They are ranked 17th in the competition at the moment, averaging only 56 tackles per game. So I think through the midfield, to really restrict the inside 50 entries, they must tackle hard.
Well, and the forward 50 targets have been an interesting one, because they haven't really been able to get a marking target inside 50. So what they need to do is get a mobile forward line. They need to make sure that on the way out, they're defensively very good. At the moment, they're sort of getting out of their own forward line a little bit too easily, so they need to put some defensive pressure, or a bit more defensive pressure on the opposition.
One of the young stars, Swallow for the Gold Coast Suns. He is a star, there's no doubt about that. But if he was in probably a traditional club that's been around for a long time, he'd probably playing on half or flank or wing, but he'll probably line up in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, and look, and I think that's an area that they can actually trouble Port Adelaide. With no Brogan, I mean, Zach Smith is a terrific young player, 206 centimetre ruckman. That's where they need, with Ablett back in the side and the likes of Swallow and Harris, they need to start winning the contested ball in the centre of the ground. Clearance has become crucial today without the big-bodied Brogan. I think that's an area they can really worry the Port Adelaide side.
It's been a massive week for Gary Ablett. I mean, how's he got through?
Yeah, no, look, he's pretty good. You know, that's at the end of the day, we had a bit of a giggle before, a bit of a laugh about it, but the simple fact of the matter is he's a professional. He'll come out here today. I expect him to have a good game. Probably expect Thomas to go to him. He's been that run-with player this year. No Cassisi with a broken leg. Kane Corns not on the side. I would expect it to be Thomas, but he's going to be the barometer. If he can get going, Gary Ablett, and get his 35 touches, maybe kick 2 or 3, you give him a chance.
And outside Gary Ablett, probably the highest profile Suns player is Carmichael Hunt. How have you seen his progression? For mine, he's actually worked pretty well, considering he's only played about 14, 15 games ever of AFL football.
Yeah, he's been hard. He's been given some tough jobs too. I mean, that's the thing. He's played on the big blokes. He's been one out on the defensive line on the biggest blokes. He's played on the likes of Liam Jarrah. So he hasn't had it easy, and he hasn't had a lot of support down there. The ball's been getting pumped in 65 times a game. So I like what he's doing. I think he'll get there. I know there's been a lot of criticism about him, but I think it takes a fair bit of guts to do what he's done.
Yeah, well, time for a break here at AAMI Stadium. Should be a cracking day and a cracking contest. Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns coming up next.
Welcome back to AAMI Stadium. Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns, round 5 clash, 12th and 17th on the AFL ladder. Port Adelaide coming off a win last week, the Gold Coast yet to have one. And it's fantastic on this Anzac Day weekend that the players and the fans around Australia get together and show their respects as we head downstairs to our Master of Ceremony, Craig Willis.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Football League and the Port Adelaide and Gold Coast football clubs invite you now to join with the coaches, players and umpires as we honour the Anzacs and all those men and women who gave their lives in the service of their country. Our thoughts too are with those currently on active service. Would you please stand and remove your hats for the Anzac observance. And joining us on this occasion, we welcome Colonel Michael Burgess, Senior Army Area Representative.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain upstanding for the Australian National Anthem.
Our
outstanding, sun shining, and not a bad crowd in here for an Easter Saturday afternoon. Many South Australians away, and Port Adelaide always draw around the 20,000 mark. There's big Zach Smith. So much expected from him for a man who's only played 3 games, and yet people are starting to suggest he could be the next big thing. And Port Adelaide expected to win this one this afternoon, although the start will be interesting. They started so poorly last week and almost looked out of the game against the Adelaide Crows and did fight back to the point that some are saying they're back in the kind of form that could actually see them win a couple in a row. And they've got the Gold Coast today and then North Melbourne next week. Perfect conditions for football. Let's head downstairs to Liam Pickering.
Yeah, pretty moving ceremony there, Dwayne. Look at this, it's magnificent conditions for footy. If anything, it may be a slight breeze to the left of screen. Just to reiterate that Dean Brogan out of the side for Port Adelaide, and that'll be a very interesting area of whether the Gold Coast, I should say, can take advantage of an inexperienced ruckman now with Daniel Stewart, and also probably Trengove that's also got to get involved.
Thanks, Pickers. Your man, Gary Ablett Jr., won the toss, and they'll kick left of screen.
Yeah, Pickers is very happy with that. Gary Ablett's going to get off to a flying start, I suspect, today. It's perfect conditions, and they know they need their captain up and going if they're going to compete with Port Adelaide. Obviously, long odds to win this game, but I'm excited about what we see out here. It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, but we're going to see the Gold Coast Suns challenge teams, and it just might be today if the Port Adelaide side drop their guard after showdown 30.
Well, I think what they've got to try and do is just stay in quarters longer. That's all. It's only been 2 quarters of a game, and one game was 3 quarters where they got belted, but they showed that they could go at times with anybody out there. Look, younger players are going to do that. I would think Lynchy. All I'd like to see at this stage with this group is whether they win or lose. To me, it's not a major issue. It's just how long they stay in the game. But the other thing, the skills that you see from each individual young player, that you know that's going to be our future. If I was a coach of the Gold Coast Suns, that's exactly what I see.
If they can stay in the game, that's going to help develop the youngsters. So it is a massive requirement, I think, to not be blown away. They certainly have had stages, but in other stages of most of the season, they've been blown off the park.
I'll tell you what, they just had a great experience, because not many of those youngsters would have been out in the football ground and at AFL level, and the playing of the last post, the emotional involved, that in itself is an experience for them.
Well, I was chatting to a few players just before the game down at ground level, and there's a handful of players that have never been to South Australia before, let alone played at Footy Park.
Yes, this is the first time they've ever met, these two teams. Gold Coast's first game as a team at AAMI Stadium against either the Crows or Port Adelaide.
Dwayne, Brett Ebert starting in the middle, had a fantastic last 3 quarters last week when they threw him in there, won a lot of clearances, so the coach has got a lot of confidence in him that he can do it again.
And last time we were over here, sure, I think Brett Ebert was playing up forward for Port Adelaide in the local competition in the pre-game 2 or 3 weeks ago.
The round 5 clash is underway. And immediately a takeaway almost to Stewart, gave it back up, and Stewart, can you believe it, to Stewart. And now Bock, who's back home, former Crow, knows AAMI Stadium extremely well, of course. Kenzie thumps it long, not really in the right spot. Chaplin captaining Port Adelaide today in the absence of Kasisi and Dean Brogan. Going backwards to Trengove.
This is a big facet of the game for the Gold Coast. Don't allow plenty of run and bounce off half-back from Port Adelaide, which they, when they're up and running, they do so well.
Hartlett, Surgeon, and now Ebert. Coming off that spectacular game last week, goes wide. Robbie Gray. Tough bouncing ball to collect. Toy is with him, out of play.
And Josh Toy, that's a big matchup on Robbie Gray. We know Robbie Gray is one of those potent forwards. Mid to small forward, but can lead well and knows his way around the goals.
Little flick down. And it'll be a free kick to Port Adelaide's Matt Thomas.
And that's disappointing at a stoppage in your forward 50 to give away a free kick, a holding free kick. And it wasn't a whole heap in it, but it was probably there.
The last thing they need is small-time frees and easy goals early. That's what he has ahead of him. Crowd absolutely silent.
Close.
Oh, way too close. Straight into the man on the mark, and that is a football sin. No reason to allow that whatsoever, kicking into the man on the mark. It's crazy stuff.
No.
Ablett out wide. Little tap on initially by Bennell. I've been told today he's changed his name to Bennell, even though he's related to the Bennell family. So here is Bennell. He kicks along the wing, and Chaplin takes another saving mark. He does that so well.
Well, it doesn't matter how you pronounce it. He still kicked it badly.
Trengove heads a little too wide for Westhoff, coming off a magnificent game last week. So go and get that in form, man. Ebert just messing around with it, really. Daniel Stewart.
Just got to close space, though, the Gold Coast. Just allowing too much space, allowing those mistakes to be unpunished.
Westhoff, Trengove, Ebert, and he heads towards Surgeon. Harbrow pushing the back. Jared Harbrow, the possession.
Back around! Take it right, Sinclair!
Brennan, Riscatelli.
Well, the forward 50 could open on this far side if they can quickly push it forward now. A bit slow with a missed target.
It wasn't a great kick by Riscatelli, who's normally sensational by a foot. Bock sends it long. Chaplin again in the spot. Thumped away. Matera, goal sneak, collects, rolls it, goes it. Sensational start.
Brandon Matera, sensational front and centre, Lynchy.
Oh, it certainly was, and there's plenty of signs of his dad and his uncle in that the way he kicked that goal, but he's been an exciting player, and this is great reward. We saw they got away with one at the other end of the ground with the kick into the man on the mark, but that is a super goal from Brandon Matera, and he's been with Zach Smith, probably the shining light of this Gold Coast Suns in the first month of football, but that is just what they needed. They've been competitive in the first few minutes and get reward for effort on the scoreboard is a great start.
Tell you what was very interesting then, boys, was that the contest at Dixon. Chaplin was dropping back to take what was looking like going to be his third uncontested mark, but a good contest from the big centre-half forward. Allowed that crumb there to Matera.
Daniel Stewart just repeating. Brogan out for Port Adelaide. Daniel Stewart in. Thomas couldn't get it free. Brennan does, but Roden in the thick of it. Thomas caught a little high. Umpire thought he ducked into it. Brennan gets the handball out, but it'll be... Well, Trengove and Chaplin looked at each other and neither went for the ball. So some indecision. Trengove tries to get it to Chaplin. Matera, and he's won himself a free.
Well, they just can't blaze away long here because Port Adelaide have protected the goal square with numbers on Charlie Dixon. Just no movement.
Matera doesn't like his chances of going the distance. Harbrow hops it back in hope and cut off poor.
But if you're going to make a mistake, you might as well make it at the top of the goal square.
Exactly what you said. I know it was a 2-on-1 contest, but get it to the top of the goal square. And those players, like we just saw Matera, crumb a ball front and centre. So, just get it into your forward 50 as deep as you can. They've got to work the ball out then from there.
Yeah, well, they've got away with it because there's another turnover here. And a boundary throwing.
Little flick down and getting through the traffic salopet. Got it to Westhoff. Slung after he delivered. Bock spins his way out of the danger. Brennan
over the line.
They've been pretty sloppy, Port Adelaide, with their hands, haven't they? Missed the target. I don't think it's so much pressure, just trying to create something. Got to play a straight bat. As we said, the start's so important to just nip all the enthusiasm out of the Gold Coast Suns if you can get off to a good start, and it hasn't happened here.
Brennan coming off.
A bit of a spell. He was been good over the last few weeks, Jared Brennan, after a disappointing first-up game.
It's not waiting for Godot with Jared Brennan, isn't it? We're waiting for him to turn into a superstar, and we might be waiting forever. It's taken quite a while to get himself to a consistent level of greatness. He's always good.
Well, probably the one thing that hurts his reputation is he was so good when he first burst on the scene with a, I think it was about 7 goals, was it, against Collingwood? Or certainly a display against Collingwood at the Gabba in one of his early games where he was taking marks everywhere.
Turns 27 years of age this year as well. Jared Brennan having a spell now. Ball almost in the hands of Fraser. It's in the hands of Gary Ablett. Gang tackled. He can expect a bit more of that this afternoon.
Tell you what has been noticeable, boys, is the contested footy. 9-5 the Gold Coast lead early in this match, which is a good sign.
Some crowd still finding their seats. A little bit of a hush around AAMI Stadium at the moment.
Over the shoulder.
Port Adelaide free. Broadbent. Now he's got Motlop one out long. Goes in the Motlop direction. Little bump by Motlop and Bock
That's well done. It's a free kick. So it's gone in the favour of Josh Toy. That's a big matchup. You wouldn't be real comfortable. That's just a hands in the back push out, whether it was a hand in the back or not, but it was a big push. But Josh Toy, talented youngster, and that's a big job for him. They're going to try to isolate Daniel Motlop and Toy in the forward 50.
Again, stopping Chaplin from taking that uncontested mark. Hamish Hartlett just got the distance. Travis Boak, who looked to be having a fitness test about an hour and a half ago here. Hartlett spears the ball towards full forward. Motlop down there with Toy again and Surgeon. Ball knocked away to Harbrow. Toy just got the kick away in time, but it's a turnover. And there's another uncontested mark for Chaplin. Motlop's in the position, rises, got it. That's the problem when you turn it over.
Yeah, turnovers and Gold Coast deep defenders that run offensively, which they really need to do to support, but in the end, Daniel Motlop was basically in the goal square by himself. I must say, Chad Corn's very good block on Nathan Bock to keep him out of the contest.
Well, the man on the mark is Josh Toy, and it was that turnover just straight up the corridor too. If you're going to make a mistake, make it out to the wing. He didn't look laterally at all. Should finish here, Daniel Motlop.
2 goals last week in the showdown, but set up 3 others. And scores a level.
And one of the critical factors for the Gold Coast is making sure their turnovers don't get punished on the scoreboard. As you said though, Shorey, a turnover in the corridor inside 70 or 80 when there is space behind, and you see Daniel Motlop has gone back, and we just noticed the good block from Corns right of screen on Bock, and that was some good work and a good mark here in the end from Daniel Motlop. He's class over his head when he's on, so it's going to be very big ask for young Josh Toy.
Daniel Motlop having a rest, as is the thing now. It's almost worth not kicking the goal now.
Tell you another one that was
Get
interesting.
dragged every
Just
time you
handball it off.
Yeah, have an assist.
Another person that was interesting in that was Jacob Surgeon, Shorey. You've noticed that he's been pretty good as a defensive forward.
On Harbrow today.
And it's a key role. And speak of the devil, Harbrow. That's a nice shot. Fraser can he hit a target or go all the way from 55. Kicks it long but offline.
He just snuck forward out there by himself on the flank. Josh Fraser couldn't do the job. They've got to make the most of opportunities in this first term. If there is a wind, it's probably slightly in favour of left of screen.
Pinata Chaplin, who again, even though we thought he might be playing on a player today, looks like he's lurking loose. It wasn't the required distance, so Bennell gives it to Brennan, who's back on, goes for the miracle kick, goal squared. It's touched on the line or a miracle goal.
That's a miracle.
Sensational. Maybe Gotto's arrived.
Well, I don't know whether you can put that in the words. What happened? I think if you just look at the pictures and he's put it across his boot.
What you can say, he didn't mean it.
No, well, did he mean to centre it, or he thought the wind might if he got it up? Now look at that. He's worked the ball the other way round, trying to go to the top of the square, and I think the wind just got it because it was a horrible floater, and in the end he's kicked the goal from it, but only Jared Brennan could do that. Matter of fact, I just don't even understand why he would kick the ball like that in the first place, but he's got away with it, and a good start to the Gold Coast.
Well, we're still confused as to whether he meant it or not.
There is no way he meant that, surely. He seemed to be going to the top of the goal square from the outside of the boot. That's just
I bet you he doesn't say that.
The dirty old mung that's floated through.
It's one of the best dirty old mungs we've ever seen in the history of dirty old mungs. Thomas couldn't break free. Gold Coast looking good at the moment. Matching it in every facet of the game, ball up.
But again, a forward 50 entry has been honoured with a shot at goal, and on that occasion another goal. So that's very important for the Gold Coast.
Umpire calls play on. There's plenty of bodies around the ball at the moment. Good 20 or so players within a handball's distance, and Brennan steals it back again. He's turning it on now. Riscatelli gives it up. Weller, late inclusion, goes wide, and Dixon takes the mark, and he is a goal kicker. He's a mark and goal kicking forward. It's his forte.
Tell you what, Dwayne, those uncontested possessions, the clearances, Port Adelaide have been very ordinary that all year. They are getting belted at the moment.
To the near side, just scrapes in for a score. Charlie Dixon, no it doesn't, out on the full. Third season with the Gold Coast, played in their under-18s 2 years ago and the VFL for them last year, so he's their entrenched centre-half forward.
He was one of those handful of locals that came out of the under-18 championships and committed to play in the TAC Cup with the Gold Coast. So one of the first signings was Charlie Dixon, and with the likes of Zach Smith as well.
And the hard part for the Gold Coast is, although they're talking long-term, 3 and 4 years down the track, is retaining these superstar kids on the rise. Zach Smith's going to be hard to keep. Brandon Matera, it's going to be hard to stop him from going home.
And you would think that some of these clubs that have lost experienced players, they'll be just lining up to pinch some of the Gold Coast talent over the next few years.
Zach Smith, there he is. The Rockhampton Rocket, 206-centimetre sporting freak. Ex-soccer player, as I'm sure you know by now.
So who are the Rockhampton Rockets? Do I know? Is that the soccer team or is
it
that
actually the basketball team? Roden dragged down. But it's good to see so many young sports people from around our country turning to AFL every year. Another 120 get the opportunity to play it professionally in the draft. Can't say that about many sports in Australia. Boat dragged down, didn't dispose of it legally. Crowd thought it deserved a free. There's a few Gold Coast Suns fans here in the crowd. Either that or their Adelaide Crow fans just come to barrack for the Gold Coast.
They've come to the game just because they dislike Port Adelaide.
No, there were a few, that's for sure. There's a few there. That was enough to hold up the banner this week, which was encouraging.
Didn't have to get help from the opposition cheer squad, which was nice. Gary Ablett lays a good tackle. In fact, it was too high, but it's nice to see him laying those tackles.
A little unlucky, but that is one of the things we focused on at the start of the game. That is very important for the Gold Coast, especially their midfield and their forwards. Tackle and tackle hard.
Thomas Long. Daniel Stewart flies front spot. Corns gets a free for a nudge out. Oh, nearly. He left that, Chad Corns. He probably could have reached it.
Tried to milk it.
Experience there. And he sells the dummy. Shorts it. And here's the first gamer taking the mark, Jack Hutchins, the former swimmer, competed against Eamon Sullivan and co to have a crack at a World Championship berth for Australia, but gave it up. They're playing well at the moment, the Gold Coast. Matera gives it back. Bok. Matera.
That was the wrong option.
Spoke too soon. Westhoff.
Well, that was the absolute wrong option.
And was that the wrong option? No, it might be okay. And going back, Hamish Hartlett.
Well, Brandon Matera there, I think I know what he was trying to do, but he nearly hit him. I'll tell you what, that was like Westhoff led to him.
You know, almost better off kicking it behind.
It was actually kicking another 20 metres and kick it straight through the... but he obviously didn't have a right leg because there was a player about 35, 40 metres over the top that he could have hit.
Same spot as Port Adelaide's first goal was kicked. Same result. On the button.
Once again, the goal has come from a direct turnover, and that's been a poor kicking on this occasion. It was Matera, but we'll see left of screen.
Oh, that was a free kick too. Unlucky there for the Gold Coast.
We'll see here, left of screen possibly, that there was a player free where Matera could have gone to, but we didn't quite see it there, but it was further over, but just didn't have the right leg, and that was a really bad place to turn the ball over, 10 metres out on a slight angle.
Hamish Hartlett also finding some form. Pick 4 he was, Port's earliest pick in a draft ever, 2008, behind Watts, Nat Nui and Hill. Such an injury interrupt start to his career. Riscatelli, Brennan the flick on. Harris, caught, got a handball out, back towards Hartlett. Oh, magnificent by Hartlett. Put his head down and then sidestepped everybody. Ebert gives it up. Daniel Stewart. High towards Gray. Motlop's back on. Flies into it with Toy. Ball hits the deck. Harbrow.
He did that well.
Toy. Kick smothered by Surgeon. Ricochets. Tape dives in. Swallow. Hasn't seen a lot of it yet. Tape still in there trying to fight it out. Tied up. And we'll get a ball up. Seb Tape. Another boy back home. Glenelg boy. Good to see him in the thick of it.
That's a very short pass. He's a young Swallow.
Did he pull his kick because Surgeon was coming across his leg?
It may have been. It looked like he did pull it.
He knew the contact was coming. And Stewart bangs it goalward. It's way wide.
They're those little mistakes I think Guy McKenna will have to live with because he's so young in that defence. Lack of poise at the moment makes him make a couple of bad decisions, and it'll be costly, but he understands that. They'll grow with this.
Harbrow down the middle.
Oh, risky.
Yeah,
Well done.
Late inclusion was Weller, lucky to get a game again, and now another turnover. West off, just floats it in the Motlop direction. Bounces unkindly for Motlop and kindly for Gray. Ducks out of a tackle, gives to Motlop, kickable by his standards. And that's the result that normal people would get across the face. And lucky to get a throw in.
He hasn't been watching Jared Brenner.
No, normal. You use the other side of the ball. Yeah. But normal people wouldn't attempt something like that. But he's a freakish player.
In fact, last week he wasn't attempting anything like that. He was being unselfish and centering everything. Smith, Brennan, Harbrow, Bock.
Now, Port Adelaide at 60 metres have 3 defensive sweepers here, so they've just all lined up and just going to make it very hard to get this kick to a Gold Coast player.
Mackenzie flew from 4 deep just off the bench, so he was the fresh man on end up.
And that's a win realistically in that situation where they were outnumbered, the Gold Coast Suns, to get a stoppage, get the even matches, and now from this stoppage, actually they got the centre corridor was free, Bennell over the back.
Flick down to Ebert, gets the clearance, rolls it to West off, kind bounce, look away handball didn't really work. In fact, no one was looking at it, so it did work. Harbrow gets his way through traffic nicely. Brennan, Riscatelli-Brennan. Floats it towards Tringo, though. Fraser's going to have to go, and he does go. Good fist. Hartlett, inboard. O'Shea, Hiddard, Ebert.
Up here.
Players on in the middle. Take your pick. Broadbent shields his eyes from the sun. Should go for home. Goes to Motlop instead.
Wow, that was just great play by Hamish Hartlett on the wing. Fantastic hands, got the ball back in the corridor, and you could just see it evolve, handball over handball. They had players over the top, and good finish by Broadbent.
Short pass is perfect to Surgeon.
What was really noticeable in that passage of play was 2 really young players thought their way through a bit of traffic there, so it was Hartlett first and then Pittard.
So Daniel Motlop again showing an unselfish side. Could have gone for goal from 40. It's Jacob Surgeon coming off a night of watching Thor, the movies last night, as his pre-game preparation. Pumps that towards goal. And for the first time today, Port Adelaide are in front.
Well, talk us through that pre-game preparation. He doesn't watch Thor every week.
No, it's a different movie each week, and last night he chose Thor.
Rightio, if it works.
Who is the god of?
I don't know.
Thunder.
There you go.
There you go.
Port Adelaide.
The old fellas are all over.
Lynchy wasn't old enough. He's too young to know that used to be on TV nearly every week.
No, I missed that one, but they worked it well. As Pickers touched on, some of the youngsters in congestion were very good, but they had players lined up across half forward and pushed hard into space.
Had his first game for the season last week in the showdown. Jacob Surgeon. Started well again here from the ball up. Smith backwards to go forwards to Mackenzie, and that's ugly. Straight to Surgeon. Motlop lurking up forward again, back of the pack. Boak coming out of full forward.
Yeah, strong hands. They had the sit. I think it was Jack Hutchins in his first game. Just mistimed his jump and spoil. And a very clean set of hands there. Just once again, skill errors are just hurting the Gold Coast. They're getting hurt on the way back.
Well, Jack Hutchins just misread the flight of the ball too. So I know he's played a lot of football there.
And a great job in the first 15 minutes here to hold Port Adelaide, the Gold Coast. Got to be careful not to let the genie out of the bottle just yet. Good goal from Boak.
And certainly we've been talking up the Gold Coast Suns, but here again we just see from Mackenzie just tried to poke it in the corridor, that 10 metres to a teammate, but there Hutchins goes far too early and just mistimed it.
That's a good grab.
And that's a good grab in congestion. There was a couple of players, Hutchins and Carmichael Hunt, trying to spoil on that occasion. Good conversion. They're just getting reward now that the Gold Coast were earlier and generating shots at goal.
21 minutes gone, opening term. Amy Stadium, round 5. Port Adelaide's biggest lead of the afternoon, 11 points. Dangerous time now. Good hip and shoulder, was in the side of Harris by Hartlett.
Oh, he's pinned him there.
Yes. Hartlett's ball.
Red hot on that one. Need to work very hard to drop back, but at the same time, don't drop too far off your direct opponent.
O'Shea back to Tringove. Kicking's not really his forte, and that's one of the reasons why he rarely plays forward. Just a ruck backman. O'Shea content to take that out.
Heavy hit on young Brandon Matera as well. But it bounces up.
It bounced up like the little Indian rubber man.
It did, right in front of you, Pickers. Hit fairly hard.
Yeah, it made me remember why I'm not playing anymore. It actually didn't sound great.
Fraser with the flick down, and Daniel Stewart, who did the ruck work. Boak is in there. And gang tackled, will get another ball up.
Just here, I want to show you Carmichael Hunt. He's playing on Motlop. Last week he played in front. I think he had about 6 goals kicked on him because he allowed his man to go behind him. Now he's right on the shoulder. I think he's learned from 1 week, so that's a good sign for Gold Coast.
It would suggest there's someone in his ear during the week.
A little untidy there from Weller into the back of Surgeon. Gee, he's had a heart. The reason he got 7 goals kicked on him last week is because his coach put him on Liam Jarrett.
Oh, there was a bit of that
3
as well.
others that he shouldn't have played on. But he did. He played in front, and today he's just had the hand on the shoulder of Motlop, so forcing him up the ground.
The coach isn't doing him any favours, though, playing him on best
Good
forward
players.
every time. Motlop this week, Jarrett last week. Salopek kicks toward half forward. Ebert's going to get there and probably go. Takes the mark. No one on the mark. Hits the goal square. Motlop back of the pack. Couldn't get there. Punch through.
A good spoil. And sure, just to go on with that, it's what we sort of mean by when you play from behind. And certainly Carmichael Hunt is a very good athlete, competes well. If you can just sit off the back shoulder of the forward, he'll lead you to the ball, but you use your athleticism once the ball is in the air and in dispute to actually contest and stop the stoppage, whereas he was just getting lost by playing in front.
Long kick in and stolen by Stewart, who's playing an inspired game. Late call up with Brogan out with an Achilles injury, and we understand Dean's at home with ice on watching this, so cheerio to you, Dean. Motlop forward. Hunt crashes the pack again. Harris thumps it out of the area. Tringove attacks it, gets it, handballs it back to Alapate Carlisle, and they can reload.
Well, Carmichael Hunt nearly killed him in that contest there.
Chaplin to O'Shea. Too far out to score. Every Gold Coast Sun getting back. Thumps it along, top of the square. Hartlett, Motlop, all up there. Fist down. Scatelli dives in. Ablett shovels it out. Hutchins, the first gamer. And Troy Chaplin is about to get another possession as loose man in defence. Logan, short. Hitchcock, little nudge by Hutchins. It's okay. Again, sits it up, hoping for a mark target. Carmichael Hunt.
He wants the handball, and that's why.
Gee, Tringove sits it up to Westhoff.
I tell you what, I don't blame Carmichael Hunt then. I blame some of his teammates. You know that he wants to handball most of the time. Get in a position where he can get the ball. I'd be running behind him every time that he got the ball. And I know it was a shocking kick, but that's what he doesn't want to do.
Our game is such that you do have to kick at some stages.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. And I mean, he probably has to just slow up when he gets the opportunity, and it'll make the mistake long. But yeah, difficult situation for him in that one.
Westhoff tucked into the boundary, strikes it nicely. It's the post, and that's the hard part for commentators and people making the assessment. Do you assess Carmichael Hunt as a 3-game player, or do you assess him as $1 million a year player? You probably have to assess him as a 3-game player.
Well, you do. The money doesn't come in. If they're stupid enough to pay an amount like that, well, so good.
So do you disagree with the amount he was paid? Sure. Give me
a break.
Okay, well, I think it was marketing dollars, but take your point.
It was. We know what it is, so you can wear that.
Fraser tries a little 1-2 with Sam Isles, making his comeback to AFL footy today. First game for the Gold Coast. Smith, Thorls, Brennan, casually. Wouldn't expect anything else.
Sure.
And that's the trouble with Jarrett Brennan's casual nature.
Well, that is a very ordinary kick from a senior player.
Carlisle to Chaplin to Hitchcock. They've got 3 men on the open side. He's got Surgeon or O'Shea if he wants them. O'Shea. He's got Ebert or Surgeon. They've got two loose men. Surgeon. Back again. O'Shea. Runs into a gang tackle. Salopek. And sits it out wide. Fist from Hutchins. Ebert still lurking. Was out there waiting a while. West off. Here they go. Roden if he wants him. And Motlop will do. In the pocket.
Well, that was difficult for Harbrow. Play on.
Called to play on there. Harbrow comes at him. Tries the shimmy. Kicks around the body. Motlop. And that is what Daniel Motlop can do. It's better if it's harder.
Yeah, he didn't seem too disturbed that he had to play on. And he's just come around and kicked a beautiful one then. Gold Coast actually did reasonably well to hold it up for a considerable amount of time. But here, Jared Brennan, that's very similar to the kick that went through for a goal, Shorey.
I think that was an embarrassing kick. You know what? That has caused a turnover because you want to be a mug lair in the game. He could have kicked straight down the line. He had a short, or it's running the line to the contest. That is unacceptable from a senior player who's going to be a leader at this club.
Two goals of Daniel Motlop, so he's picked up from where he left off last week.
Captain Gary Ablett more than happy with that kick of Jared Brennan.
And so he shouldn't be.
Told him he should have used the player in forward, which was, I think, little Matera.
Fraser pokes it inside 50. Fist away was pretty good by Pettigrew. O'Shea. And all the way back to Carlisle. Fumble.
They got numbers out the side, far side as well if they move it quickly.
Thomas, Carlisle, it's way wide. And it will roll out. Liam, if you're still down there, I know you are still down there, why was Gary Ablett kicking out from fullback after a behind?
Yeah, well, they haven't been able to get it out, have they? That's Port zone's been pretty good, so I'm not sure whether that's to get a bit of the footy. He hasn't had a lot of it. He's only had a couple of touches, so Thomas doing a reasonable job so far on Ablett.
Fraser. You heard the umpires call knock 15. Salopek slaps it down. Weller, here is Ablett on cue from 50. They need a captain's goal. They're behind. Tough kick though.
Tough kick, and there's plenty of pressure on, as on that occasion Surgeon was very close, so it was a pressured kick from outside 50.
Well, they're taking Gary out of the equation, have they? Only 3 possessions, but I'd like to see him rest up forward. Don't put him to bench. Just if he's going to go to the bench, give him another 5 to 7 minutes in the forward line. You know he could probably create something there.
Daniel Stewart pushed out of it by Josh Fraser.
Big shove, but you're right, Shorey, and he's one of those players that draws the ball, so he'll draw it back into the corridor, so that's important, just to give the midfielders some direction.
Chad Corns, long, Robbie Gray. Big leap, couldn't bring it down, ball in. 50 seconds from quarter time, and he's landed on the ankle, Robbie Gray.
Just jarred that one, heavily strapped his lower calf, and I'd imagine his ankle as well.
Davenport the sub for Port Adelaide, and Russell the sub for the Gold Coast if you've just joined us. Surgeon. Now Motlop's in a one-on-one with Toy. Toy gets there first, he's gone to ground. It is dangerous, he's still got it, and he might be in a spot of bother.
He loves this one.
As soon as he went to ground, didn't he?
The only fight was to who was going to take it, Hitchcock or Motlop there, the free kick.
Well, he near had to back himself because it was going to be a 2-on-1 situation, so he near had to take the mark to have any chance, but didn't quite get there, so bad mistake. Another mistake in the forward 50 for the Gold Coast Suns, or the defensive 50. They've just they've leaked like a sieve through the midfield in this last 10 minutes of the first term.
On the siren, and it may have put him off a little, and the Gold Coast Suns breathe a sigh of relief. Port Adelaide at quarter time after being down by a goal early stages. The Gold Coast starting extremely well. Port Adelaide fighting back to lead by 19 at the first change. 33 plays 14. Round 5 clash is underway. Matera, goal sneak, collects, rolls it, goes it. Sensational start. Motlop's in the position, rises, got it. Fidel gives it to Brennan, who's back on, goes for the miracle kick, goal squared. Motlop lurking up forward again, back of the pack. Boak coming out of full forward. Called to play on there, Harbrow comes at him, tries to shimmy, kicks around the body, Motlop, and that is what Daniel Motlop can do. Quarter time in the first ever meeting between Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns, and the Gold Coast Suns are very competitive early. Port Adelaide put the foot down late, 5-3, 33 to 2-2-14. Daniel Motlop, a couple of goals for Port Adelaide, and a list of ones outside of him. Liam Pickering downstairs, how did it look from your angle?
Yeah, look, it was interesting. They had a very good start, the Gold Coast Suns. Their first 10 minutes really promising, but their kicking efficiency is going at only 40%, so that's an area they've got to tidy right up. Every turnover they basically made by foot when it was in the back half of the ground ended up in a shot for goal for Port Adelaide. So need to really use the ball a lot better in the second quarter and the remainder of this game than they did in the first.
I'm not sure what's going on there, Liam. Can you find out for us, please? Port Adelaide has a few lateral thinkers in its marketing department.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but there's some sort of a weird number.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm not sure what that green man is, let alone the purple one. Don't start me on him.
I want to see you in one of those suits.
I was going to say that.
Haven't quite got the physique anymore.
No, we're not sure what they're turning on for the crowd here, but it's good to see a reasonable crowd in here at Amy Stadium for Port Adelaide's Clash home game.
I think Liam was right though, Twain. That's the one area of concern. I think nearly 4 goals from turnovers inside defensive 50 for the Gold Coast Suns. They're trying as hard as they can. They started brilliantly, but that is the area that they have to pick up to get back into this game.
19 points the margin. Second term underway. Zach Smith knocks it down. Ablett almost first clear possession for him, and Gray steals it, gives it to Surgeon. Port Adelaide get it out of the centre, and almost a push in the back against Carmichael Hunt to Brett Ebert.
Yeah, just an early jump. Probably had the hand on the back as well and didn't lay a claw on the ball, unfortunately. So not a good start for the Gold Coast, but Port Adelaide will be very happy. The takeaway looked like it was going Gary Ablett's way, but it's a good pick up and steal, and Brett Ebert.
Tell you what, Dwayne's right. They're giving him some hard tasks, certainly. Like Brett Ebert's a very smart player who does turn you around, and that was going to happen on that occasion. But
so Brett Ebert has kicked plenty of these. And bends that back beautifully.
And what tends to happen there as a defender, you become fixated on your direct opponent. We'll see the clearance here. Ablett's in prime position, doesn't get the best of bounces.
Well done, Robbie Gray.
And that's great work from Gray. Surgeon set up, and what happens as a defender, you're fixated on your direct opponent and think he's going to go straight to the ball. And when Carmichael Hunt jumped there, realised that a little bit early and nowhere near it, and that's an obvious free kick. So Brett Ebert goes back, doesn't need too many chances to hurt you.
I think they're conscious of kicking it to Carmichael Hunt's man.
no doubt.
Well, I don't know whether it's directly that, but you want to try to isolate Carmichael Hunt's man, get him deep
Every
and
time.
isolate him.
They did it last week every time, and I think he had about 6 kicked on him. But that's, again, we know what you've got.
Riscatelli, a wobbler, tough to mark. Almost was marked by Pettigrew. Logan dives in. Charlie Dixon lays a tackle. Almost breaks free with it. And well played, Charlie Dixon holding it in.
I would have thought you're doing extremely well if you're coming out of the middle of the ground and think, where's Carmichael Hunt's man? There I can go. Picking off there.
Yeah,
but they're certainly trying to isolate him.
Well, he's going to the bench now.
From the ball up, Pettigrew again, caught by Riscatelli. Got a handball out. Hartlett tracks it, gets it. Thomas, manhandled by Ablett, who at the moment only has 3 possessions.
Well, he had 2 men on him there. Broadbent was very close as well, so he was going for the ball, and just no space again. You'll see at this stoppage, he's being checked, and everyone will look to block Ablett whenever he comes near you.
4 possessions make that. Kicks them inside 50, and the possession might end up in a goal. Bennell.
Well, that was a good mark from Bennell. I mean, great clearance from Gary Ablett, as we said. A lot of players around him, a lot of pressure, but he managed to get the clearance. And Bennell, it was a high ball tumbling down towards him and took it in the hands in front of the eyes.
Coming off being dropped for a week for missing a session. Harley Bennell. What you need from your young players on the rise, and hoping to pay them back today. Misses across the face.
It's Bennell, isn't it?
Bennell. Bennell. As in Fennell.
There you go.
That's right. As opposed to his relatives who are still Bennell. They might change, things.
Could catch on.
Yes.
Yeah. They got their zone in place. It's a they got a 17-man zone here. But good kicking has pierced it.
Corns caught, holding the ball.
That's where I reckon that rule's wrong. He didn't even tackle him. He just knocked the ball out of his hand.
Mackenzie spears it wide. Matera.
Well, there's Mackenzie. We know he can kick.
Riscatelli.
That was a fantastic kick from Mackenzie on that left slipper. Hit Matera. And Pickers is right. That's not a tackle. It's actually knocked the ball clear. So I'm with you, Pickers.
They're all that happy, Chad.
I'm rarely with you too, but on this occasion, I'm with you.
I think he's really happy, Chad, is he?
Michael Riscatelli, big kick this. Hasn't kicked a goal yet for the Gold Coast Suns. Holds his line, sneaks it in.
Great. Well, just a great finish from Michael Riscatelli. He had to kick that every bit of 50-odd metres. And I don't know whether the wind, it looks like you might have been kicking. Let's have a look at this tackle again. Just had a bit of the jumper, but gee, you've got to be stiff to be caught for hold. And Chad wasn't happy. He knows that he was the ball was displaced in the tap, not the tackle. And well done to Mackenzie. Yeah, right, he kicks the ball beautifully, doesn't he? And Matera just centering the ball back to Riscatelli. That is a good kick from that pocket into a breeze.
He's put it up there, giving it a bit of altitude. He's developed into a very good player, Michael Riscatelli. Obviously won the Best and Fairest award at the Brisbane Lions last year. And he's one of those real hard-nosed professionals these days.
See if they can get a spurt on. Certainly get the clearance, and a long clearance too from Danny Stanley. Mark to Logan in the pack. Couple of options wide. Hartlett forced to hold up. Good mark on Riscatelli.
He's been good in his first term in a bit. That's disposal number 10, but some real class.
So Roden looks up. He's got a few options on the outer side. Thomas, Pettigrew, and now Motlop in a one-on-one with Toy, who goes to ground. Motlop, ball's between his legs. He didn't know it. Little toe poke to his own advantage. Another toe poke towards the boundary. He was trying to do something. He didn't know what he was trying to do, but we were enjoying it.
He was figuring something would come to mind as he got close to the boundary line. Good work from Josh Toy. Once the ball was in the air, he took his focus off Motlop and went for the ball and got in front and effected a reasonably good spoil.
Flick down from Trengove. Toy. Ablett. The kick away. It's to a 2-on-1, and the one being Swallow. So not a bad 2-on-1. Wrapped up, dragged down, dispossessed. Mackenzie, Stanley gets it up. Little fumble by Gorringe. Broadbent got the handball away. Stanley got the handball away. Swallow. Ablett dragged down. Got it up just in time. Weller almost a turnover. Forced to go back and mop up his own mess. Hitchcock slaps it out. Salopek, Trengove, Hitchcock.
Well, lucky to get away with that one. Once again, a turnover. It wasn't by foot this time. It was probably
Maverick Weller,
just a bit of heat on the ball, especially when you're going backwards. You've got to soften the hands. But they got away with that one. Now they've just got to work their way out of deep defence again.
Harbrow sits it up a little, and Hitchcock gives it off the toss. Centering kick. Corns goes up and plucks it.
Good kick.
Good kick and a good mark from Corns coming back with the fly of the ball. Got a bit of contact around the head, I would have thought, from a spoil from Carmichael Hunt. But a very good mark.
Still no Kane. Emergency for today's game. Can't break back into the lineup. Chad has had his own demons. But it's been an outstanding career. 234 games now. And drives it home.
I think that's where he's going to finish his career as that key forward. I like him there. Like, you've got to give him a challenge late in his career. That would be maybe to kick 2 goals per game. And this is it. I'm trying to think who was that who centred that ball. Then was that Gray?
Not sure.
Thomas was it? Matty Thomas. Gee, that was a good centering kick there, and a lot of courage shown on this occasion by Chad Corns coming back with a fly to the ball. And Carmichael Hunt, every time he goes near the ball, he'll either hurt one of his teammates or someone else in a spoil.
Yeah, courage has never been a problem with Chad. He's had some injuries. Fractured foot, broken leg. had an eye injury that was going to keep him out for a long while. At one stage, spent 4 days in hospital, broken fingers, broken ribs. Been a great servant of this club. From the ball up, Gold Coast on the ropes again. Thomas fighting on. Ablett over it. Get a ball up.
In that first half of the first quarter, the Gold Coast Suns were up on the tackle count compared to Port Adelaide. It's just gone back Port Adelaide's way over the last 20 minutes of football, so that is a facet of the game they've got to tidy up as well.
Zach Smith with the free.
Oh, he's got to go left.
He does go left. Hutchins. McKenzie. This looks good. Long bomb from 60. It's got the carry. Oh, touched on the line. Not back into play. Pittard, short, little stumble. Salopek fell into it.
He's fallen in a hole.
Centering kick, dangerous. And that's not 50, surely.
That was a very good kick, though.
Thomas to Pettigrew. It opens up the midfield. Broadbent. And he's got Westhoff out wide. Sees him now, and Westhoff can get and go. Motlop's forward with Toy in a one-on-one. Westhoff's going to load up long to him. Motlop's got to sit. Doesn't go near him. And lost in space, Zachary Smith takes the mark. Ablett. High kick from Bock.
Big contest, 1-on-3.
away.
Dives back in, Pittard, no free. Brennan taps it back. And close to the boundary line. Salopek tries to keep it alive. Does keep it alive, Brennan. Outside of the foot. That's all he's got at the moment, the outside of the foot. Swallow. And a big tackle by Chaplin takes it out.
There's some big tackles from the Port Adelaide players on the lighter-bodied Gold Coast players. Jared Brennan, a little bit of fancy work there on the boundary line as well.
Flick down good. Harris couldn't break free though. Riscatelli does. Shoots a handball out. Stanley. Ablett. A little bit of space for the first time today. Kick was a touch difficult for Josh Fraser. Ball in. There he is, Josh Fraser. 29 years of age. 200 gamer with Collingwood. And gets a free against Trengove.
Wasn't a hole heap in that. Josh Fraser went
He played up to it.
fairly easy.
No, he took him out of the contest, boys. Definite free.
Right.
Yeah.
Won't you see the replay?
Short to the pocket. Tough one to be gathering, and he does brilliantly, Dixon. And he kicks a bouncer into the post, so that'll be a ball in. Good result for the Gold Coast.
Here it is. And Pickers is spot on.
Yes, on the spot.
Got the bird's eye view down here.
Yeah. A bit of a bump.
From the ball in. He tries for another one. That time it was Zach Smith. Stolen by Gray, gave to Boak. He's only got one-on-ones. He needs to pick a one-on-one. Which one does he want to go to? Chaplin makes it his decision. Chaplin can't pick one either. Almost ball. Dixon turns it over. Gives it back to Matera. Caught. Gives it back again. Weller shoots it up. Harris floats it up. Zach Smith, three to beat here. Can't beat them all, surely. Dixon just overran it there. Back in hard, so too Carlisle went lower. Ball comes out to Matera. Already kicked one of these today. He's kicked two. Two miracle goals.
Well, just a sensational finish from Brandon Matera. Well done to the Gold Coast Suns. All this was about was pressure. The first ball that came in, it was a high ball, and the Port Adelaide players, lack of communication, they spoilt the mark. But that's just a player who knows, been around goal, probably in the backyard. He's done it a million times, snapping like that. And that Matera name, talented family, and he's continued the tradition.
Very good little player.
Did you play with Wally?
Yeah, played with Wally at Fitzroy, and he was on the receiving end of a couple of smackings from his uncles when they were playing for West Coast.
Yeah, sort of great family it's been. Stanley, they've got a run on here, the Gold Coast. Long inside 50, and Smith.
Zach Smith.
Now, was that a push out of the contest, or
I think that
maybe
was,
body strength? I'd like to see it.
That was in the side, I think.
Yeah.
But it was with a forearm, wasn't a hand, so that was
Big.
good, strong body. You think you've got a 20-year-old, just turned 21 actually, but that is a big man and reasonably strong up against an experienced defender.
Gee, I tell you what, it was a great centre clearance. Riscatelli's hands terrific.
Spent last year rucking against men in the VFL for the Gold Coast, so doesn't mind the big bodies, drives it through, and they're back.
Well, that was against Alipati Carlisle, and he's giving away a number of years of experience, but also probably body strength. He is a big boy anyway. Let's see, and it was a good handball by Riscatelli out wide. Don't know where that opposition wingman was, but in the flight of play, got to be within 5 metres, and yeah, you've got to pay that every day. That is just saying. Matter of fact, for Alipati Carlisle, it's a bit embarrassing seeing that from a 20-year-old just to.
Well, he'd be disappointed with that one, that he was just pushed off the contest. Didn't have both feet firmly on the ground, so was easily pushed off it. I mean, you see he's got a big height advantage, Zach Smith, but often those sort of guys can be pushed off the ball. They haven't got a good purchase of the ground, but that was good, strong core in that marking
Well, the height was no advantage there. It was just good body strength.
Yeah.
Might have been leverage.
On what we've seen so far, he's got to be a massive chance once he gets a nomination for this rising star. He's been so impressive, Zach Smith.
Yeah, he didn't turn 21 until February, so he is eligible under the criteria. Riscatelli, gee, that would have been a big takeaway. Might still get it. Can't. Daniel Stewart gives it up. O'Shea wobbles it forward. Robbie Gray beaten for it by Carmichael Hunt. Just needs to finish the deal. It does. Gives to McKenzie. Out wide. Josh Fraser. He's got some run out there. Isles. Short. Swallow. Long towards Zach Smith. Can't get near it. And Chapman again, front spot. O'Shea, Pittard. Up to O'Shea. Dangerously. Hartlett nearly fell. Almost run down. Now get out of trouble. Pettigrew. Go back.
This is well done from the Gold Coast.
Tucked up against the boundary, and that's almost deliberately out of bounds.
Well
done. Crossed by Pittard.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do, get the ball over the line, because the inferred pressure from Gold Coast, they were pushing numbers back and held the ball up, so that was great work.
Big 10 minutes coming up here. They're back in this game. Swallow dishes the handball out. Fraser. Bennell needs to finish it. Goes low. Why they don't go high, I've got no idea.
I'm with you. Why didn't he kick it in the air?
Well, I don't think he thought he had the time, but he did have space.
I hope you don't mind me saying it again, but the gap is bigger the higher you go. And you've got no chance of touching it 10 metres up.
But what about the tap over the back from Zach Smith? That was fantastic.
Broadbent puts it up wide. Daniel Stewart. Great hands.
He's been good.
Ebert's on the run in the midfield, has to get around the umpire. Firstly, gives to Roden, shorts it, Surgeon. Thought about playing on, will go back and kick a steadier. They only lead by 2 goals. Here it is again.
He probably didn't get a lot of that one actually, so but probably a missed kick rather than
he had enough time. He didn't.
Dribbler. Not convinced, Wayno.
The dribbler to me is, it's the look at me kick.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think that one was actually a missed kick. I don't know whether he meant to deliberately dribble along the ground.
Surgeon from 45. Just the regulation kind of kick it goal.
And that hurts. And the Gold Coast will find this playing at this level. They'll be punished for any sort of turnover, but that was a fantastic mark. Stewart's been very good. Had an opportunity today with Brogan out of the side, but he's worked well against Josh Fraser and Zach Smith. A nice pass from Roden to identify Surgeon was in the space, and great chip kick and result in a goal. So just got to be a bit tidy, the Gold Coast. Port Adelaide very efficient inside 50.
Big difference being 1 goal up to 3 goals up, and that is essentially the difference we've seen in the last minute.
3-1 out of the centre this quarter of the Gold Coast and 9-4 around the ground clearances.
Westhoff came through hard.
Away again, Pickers.
So McKenzie to Isles. 7 games with Collingwood Isles, and this is first game for the Gold Coast. It's been a while in the waiting. His return, Riscatelli towards Weller, off hands. Harris, back again, well played Weller. Got it to half forward, Ablett looks up, handball target, Zach Smith again, takes them on, and kicks across the face.
That was good work. Once again, the clearance situation, but it was a risky kick going into centre half forward. Mav Weller had to go extremely hard at the contest where they were outnumbered. See here, just had to make a contest, outnumbered 3-1, but it caused the spillage, allowed his teammates to get to the contest and set up another shot at goal.
He's been good behind play, Nathan Bock. Great mark there. Michael Riscatelli's been the one, boys. He's had 15 possessions, 10 contested possessions, and 1 goal.
And his clearance work has been very good.
Smith calls for it long. He won't even get a run at this, Zach Smith. Punched away from his general direction. Trengove, Logan, Motlop.
Well, what the experienced Port defenders are doing, they're locking down the jumping targets like Zach Smith and Fraser and Charlie Dixon and allowing their third-up jumper to spoil.
Westhoff didn't quite complete it. Bock, he fell, was tackled. No prior opportunity according to the umpire.
It was almost an accidental trip on Bock on that occasion. Westhoff got himself in trouble here.
Michael Hunt a bit late on the scene there.
Fraser, the flick down. Riscatelli.
He's a bit sore, Nathan Bock. He's just coming off.
I reckon it was when he tripped there. It seemed like he rolled the ankle. He got his ankle stuck under one of the Port Adelaide players.
Back into play. Trengove knocks it down, but straight to Brennan. That's a beautiful pass to Weller, who might get and go here. He drops it. Forces him to short pass it. Zach Smith was down there, so too Matera, but Chapman beats them all. Wide ball, Hitchcock, and now Boak. They've done this so often, Port Adelaide. Turned a Gold Coast mistake into a score.
And Westhoff going to the goal square.
Short, Westhoff took the right on Brennan. Ablett wanted to play onto advantage.
Yeah.
Told no 3 times.
Optimistic jump there, I would have thought. Westhoff a little early, hands in the back, free kick gone.
This is the area that's been a bit of a concern for Gold Coast. It's the back end of quarters. They've leaked a few goals. The next 7 minutes pretty important in this game.
Spot on Harbrow. Josh Fraser needs to go. Trengove leads him to the ball. Could have attempted to mark it.
Let's have a look at Jaron Brennan here, boys. This is the reason you shouldn't have to kick round corners all the time. He balanced up. He didn't have it with the one-hand show. Weller should have marked that ball. He's a beautiful kick when he wants to, but I just think he goes outside the proper technique, Learising to, become a better player.
Fraser free.
Clear it out the back! Clear it out!
Riscatelli.
His work rate's been fantastic. You touched on him just before, Shorey and Pickers for that matter, but he's worked extremely hard to find space. He's been checked very closely by the Port midfield.
Puts it up long. Dixon's going to have to go. Does go front. And second grab. Charlie Dixon providing a contest at half forward.
He looked to the corridor, would have been very risky.
And unfortunately it sits a little. No one really goes for it initially. It's rolling out of play. 22 minutes gone, second term. Gold Coast in this contest. They're 3 goals from the lead. Bock chatting to the medical men.
Well, Weller's just dropped back out in front of goal by himself, so an opportunity with a clearance here for the Gold Coast.
Tried the flick back. Ebert, Ablett. Port Adelaide coming in with just the 1 win, 3 losses. Gold Coast yet to have a win, and it's going to be tougher for them if Bock can't continue. They haven't subbed him off yet, so that's the good news. You go in with 6 minutes to half time and be assessed. Surgeon got it up, but Ablett stole it. Caught, dumped, dispossessed. No holding the ball called. Roden, I should say. Tries to drive his head through.
Oh, they're away.
Isles, short. Tough ball to be gathering. Matera.
Well done.
He turned on Pittard. Ablett back to Matera. Kickable. Opens up the angle. Bends it back. Just touched the post.
Deserved a goal, didn't it? Just fantastic play by Brandon Matera.
This is an exciting play.
Is he what?
Turning circle.
Carlisle. To a one-on-one, Motlop and Toy. It's been a good contest between those two. Motlop claims he was held. Umpire has nothing of it. Harbrow short, Fraser. Gold Coast inspired at the moment. Toy. And now Dixon. It's his man under the ball. Chaplin, Broadbent. So Port under siege right now.
They'll score here though.
Motlop.
Oh, that's good for the Gold Coast actually.
Is that a little harsh? They were both using body to find body.
Tell you what, Carmichael Hunt just gave the ball back with a rugby throw, boys. He did the old spin. It was pretty good.
Nathan Bock just flexing his leg, as you can see, as Motlop goes wide, West off. 16 points to margin.
Tommy Logan's just sneaking into the corridor by himself.
Gee, that's slack, isn't
Hitchcock.
it?
Yeah, Hitchcock there, but
that's inexcusable with the amount of time that they had to get numbers back. Maybe the midfielder's not dropping another 10 metres into there. Too much space for Hitchcock. Should never have got that space there.
Checks the breeze. That's what he has to negotiate from just outside 50. It's across the face a little. Ablett's down there with Fraser, so lending a hand last line of defence, and he'll kick in again here, Gary Ablett Jr., which is a strange option for mine.
Well, I don't mind it, Dwayne. They have really struggled from this position. Hopefully he's going to keep possession, but they have struggled to get the ball out. Give it to your senior bloke to control the tempo, maybe. I know what you're saying, get him at the end of him, but they have struggled to get it to the
Tape. Best of nothing kick to me.
Yeah, true.
Letting Ablett do that. Tape goes long. Weller tries to pluck it. And Logan dives through and gets one for too high.
they don't want to concede another goal here at the Gold Coast this close to half-time.
Corns calling for it. He's ignored. Centering kick and Hitchcock again. Little nudge from Harbrow, no free. Carmichael Hunt dives in. Now on the rebound. Gorings to Matera. He can go. Zach Smith needs to be a good kick. Alapate's with him. Arm slap, no free.
Contest, isn't it?
O'Shea. Broadbent. Down to 3 minutes. Port Adelaide know the Gold Coast have lifted. Hitchcock trying to maintain possession now.
Robbie Gray's in the goal scoop all by himself. No one going to him.
And it sits up for Robbie Gray. He does go. Off hands. Robbie Gray got his own crumb. Motlop. Touch play on. A spin. A shimmy. A handball out. Hartlett kicks the goal. Fantastic assist. Daniel Motlop.
Just a slight drop-off in intensity from the Gold Coast. A bit of loose checking with Hitchcock being spotted up inside 50. So Robbie Gray was standing there for probably about 30 seconds, 20 metres by himself. Now, it didn't eventuate that he got the goal, but certainly Port Adelaide had more numbers there. It was just a bit of a sign that they're starting to get fatigued, both mentally and physically, the Gold Coast Suns. They've just got to be right on their mettle for the last couple of minutes of this quarter and not allow this score to blow out too much more.
Goals to Hamish Hartlett. Shoulder strapped, telling you his history, why this is only game number 18, despite being drafted in 08. Big clearance coming up here. Zach Smith back in. Riscatelli had it, lost it, got it back again, and they're away. Weller. He's got Fraser long, and that won't get anywhere near him. His own man, Josh Fraser, will take the mark. Alapate Carlisle. Fraser just didn't have the legs there to go. Hartlett. 2 minutes from half-time. Pittard, coming off a great game last week, was a NAB Rising Star nominee last week for his performance in defence in the showdown. Carlisle. Trengove. Has to go wide to Chaplin. Dangerous kick, but it's a precise kick. Chaplin drops at Matera. Little man comes at him. Pettigrew. Gold Coast maybe. A goal here and they'll win the quarter. Chaplin. Dixon. Got him a little high. Thumps it long. Broadbent beaten for it. Stanley. Good grab.
Good mark. Contested possession.
They've only won one quarter in their history, the Gold Coast. It was last week against Melbourne. If they can sneak a late one here, they can win this quarter. Riscatelli's the man.
Had a great quarter.
Yeah, he's worked the house down.
Has he what?
He's been prepared to run hard from one end of the ground to the other to find space.
Position number 18. Thumps it along. Gorringe is down there, forced to fist it away. Port Adelaide with the numbers back. Hartlett, Salopek, Roden, Corns, no one to go too forward. Westhoff.
Look at Smith chase Roden here.
And it's the toughest man on the ground to chase. And he's done well, Smith. He corralled the great David Roden.
Still going.
Forced him backwards. Almost the turnover. Could be a turnover. Gorringe needs to go. Stewart just too quick for him. Taps it out to Harbrow. Dying seconds. Down to 30. Weller. Handball free. Little shimmy. Isle. Well played. They have got a chance to score. Gorringe stumps it long. Zach Smith can't get there. Chaplin drops it. Smith right with him. Gives it up. Pettigrew. He fumbles it. Port Adelaide in all sorts right now. Gets it out of the area. Makes it somebody else's problem. Broadbent left it behind. Still time for the Gold Coast. They needed a kick inside 50 there and then. O'Shea wide. Carlisle on the siren. But we've got a game. The Gold Coast Suns searching for their first victory. And they're 23 down at the half. Port Adelaide 9-5, 59. Gold Coast 5-6, 36.
That was difficult for Harbrow. Play on.
Called to play on there. Harbrow comes at him, tries to shimmy, kicks around the body, Motlop, and that is what Daniel Motlop can do. Corns goes up and plucks it. Ball comes out to Material. Already kicked one of these today. He's kicked two. Off hands. Robbie Gray got his own crumb. Motlop, touch play on, a spin, a shimmy, a handball out. Hartlett kicks the goal. Fantastic assist, Daniel Motlop.
Half-time here at Amy's Stadium, and Port Adelaide leading the Gold Coast Suns by 23 points. Hartlett's been very good with Daniel Motlop, both 2 goals apiece. Brandon Materia has looked very dangerous with 2 goals in the forward half for the Suns. Michael Riscatelli, for mine, best on ground so far for the Gold Coast Suns. Very entertaining first half of football in some really good conditions here, Shorey. Plenty to like about both teams, but the Gold Coast Suns, they started reasonably well, but it was their turnovers in that first half, that in the first quarter that really hurt them.
Well, I think it was nearly 4 goals, which and a lot of them were kicks where you get the ball spoiled. Well, you cannot afford to get it spoiled in the back half, and as soon as you do that in the modern game, normally it comes back and bounces back, rebounds so quickly. But Brandon Material, we can see you down in defence. It looked like you nearly picked out Westhoff on the lead then. And look, they're going to learn from him. But I say again, if you get the ball spoiled from someone coming to forward of you, you really got to just question sometimes their thinking without poise and under pressure. And there wasn't a lot of pressure. It's those youngsters. But you take those 4 goals away, they are really in this game, the Suns.
Yeah, certainly in the second quarter especially, their tackling pressure, their clearance work really picked up, and they were rewarded on the scoreboard. And certainly, Michael Riscatelli was one of those players that really lifted with the clearance work.
Oh, sensational. I think he had 19 possessions to half-time. And his clearance, his centre bounce clearance work was fantastic. He kicks this from about 50 metres into a breeze. But Michael Riscatelli, we know he's a class act, won Brisbane's best and fairest last year. And when your best and fairest isn't with the club, it's hard to read what happens there. But of course, he was one player that the Gold Coast Suns, Brandon Materia, he's been sensational. Matter of fact, you should have kicked 3 goals. So he's kicked 2 goals, 1. But just his creativity, you can just see he's going to be a player for a long time. And Zach Smith, we said there, he's only young, but a big body. And just to throw Alipati Carlisle like he did there, in the end, it looked quite embarrassing for Alipati that a youngster could do that to him.
Yeah, he wouldn't be too happy with that one. Big Zach Smith just resting up forward at 206 centimetres. A bit of a headache for a full-back. But Liam Pickering down on the boundary line. Pickers, Hamish Hartlett for Port Adelaide was one of the real players that got him going late in that first term.
Yeah, look, he's a terrific talent, Hamish Hartlett. Unfortunately, over the last couple of years, he hasn't been able to get on the park because of injury. But people at Port Adelaide tell you he's potentially their very best player. So just having a look at what he does really well in the first half. He's a terrific ball user. He slipped forward. He had 14 touches and kicked 2 goals. That was a beauty early in the game. I love his work around the stoppages. He's very clean. He's a player that thinks his way through trouble, as you saw there. And he's done that a number of times in that first half. As I say, if they can get him on the ground, he'll work with the likes of Boak and be a really good long-term player, a long-term midfielder. Love the way he's gone about it and what he's added to his game since he's come back into the side is he's been able to push forward and kick some goals as well. So he's a player I reckon is going to have a really big future at Port Adelaide, and he's a player that Gold Coast will need to put a bit of work into in the second half.
He's certainly a very talented player. Pickers, just at ground level, how have the Gold Coast appear to have stood up? I mean, they've got a lot of inexperienced younger bodies. Physically, they look to be in the game.
Yeah, they are. I think what you talked about earlier, Lynchy, was it's just been they've been capitalised on by their mistakes. I mean, Port Adelaide have been able to make them hurt. They've got a young group. You saw that. You saw Bock go off late in that second quarter. But I love the way they've cracked in. I thought their clearance work in the second quarter was much better than it was in the first quarter. Just got to tidy up their ball use a bit.
Yeah, I think if they can do that, they'll be right in this game. Well, time for a break here at Amy Stadium. We'll come back. We might actually find out how Nathan Bock is going. But at the moment, Port Adelaide lead the Suns by 23 points. An entertaining first half of football. Port Adelaide have been in very good touch, and some of the youngsters for the Gold Coast Suns have looked very encouraging for their supporters as well. And Chad Corns, the wily old veteran, has kicked straight in the first half. And we said in the first half, Michael Riscatelli was very good. If you had your best Port Adelaide side, who would be going on to him?
Oh, Michael Riscatelli, probably Dominic Cassisi, I would think.
Oh, that's a very good segue, I would have thought. Liam Pickering is down on the boundary line with the injured skipper, Dominic Cassisi.
Oh, very sharp work up there, lads. I am here with Dom Cassisi, and Dom, the boys were just talking up there. I know you haven't got the earpiece in, but would you have played on Riscatelli, or who would you have got today if you had been available, Ablett?
Yeah, probably a bit of Gaz at stoppage, I'd say. But they got a class midfield. They got some experience in there with Riscatelli as well. So they're giving us a bit of a touch up at the moment. So we've turned around the second half.
I've noticed there's been a bit of double teaming at the stoppages on Ablett in particular.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously everyone knows how important he is. So, with Matty Thomas sitting on him stoppage and then someone else come and give him a bit of a hand, really cuts out one of their best midfielders.
Yeah, now tell us about your injury and how far away you are, because we were here during the game when you broke your leg and looked a bit innocuous, but that wasn't the incident.
No, that wasn't the incident. I've done it a little bit earlier in the day, but it was a little bit hard to determine what it was when it happened, but, had x-rays after the game and sort of a bit of a minor fracture to my tibia and ended up having a bit of an arthroscope on the knee. So been out for 3 weeks, another 4 probably. So it's been a little bit frustrating, but when we won on the weekend, it made it a little bit more easier.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you came on and off. I was sitting here watching you going up and down the boundary. It looked like you might have thought you had a knee problem for a start.
Yeah, definitely. I thought I did some structural damage to my knee. So once I got the green light with that, I thought I'd just keep playing. So it got worse as the game went on. So like I say, a little bit more time out, but hopefully be out there soon.
It seemed to turn around a little bit for Port Adelaide last week after quarter time. Matty Primus, were you out on the ground? You sit in the box? I mean, he looked pretty frustrated at quarter time against the Crows. Yeah,
look, I was in the stands. I wasn't out there at quarter time, but from what the boys say, they heard one of the best sprays they've ever had. So, and look, to the credit to the players, they really responded. So, obviously, it shows the amount of respect that Matty's got from the boys, and always to win the showdowns is great. And the player who was adjudged the best player on the ground in the showdown, Justin Westhoff, he really turned his form around this year. He's been really competitive. Yeah, definitely. He's, he poses a big threat to opposition sides. He's hard to match up on, and he's got great running ability for a guy his size. So, look, he's a trump card for us, and hopefully he can play well in the second half. Well, good luck. We look forward to seeing you back out there, Dom. I'm sure the team would be looking forward to it as well. No worries. Thank you. Dom Cassisi there, the Port Adelaide captain. We'll take a break. We'll get back at half-time here. It's a 23-point lead to Port Adelaide. Gold Coast full of cheek.
Welcome back to Amy Stadium. Round 5 clash between Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns. Second half about to get underway. Port Adelaide leading by a slender margin, 23 points. Liam Pickering's downstairs. Welcome back, Liam.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne. In that second quarter, halfway through the second quarter, Nathan Bock flew up for a mark and landed pretty heavily on the centre wing, and it was a bit of a concern, but he's back out there and now looks like he might be okay, but he landed heavily there, and he immediately went off the ground after that incident. You can see him there wincing in pain as Hartlett landed on top of him. Landed on his knee, and we just had a chat with Dominic Cassisi before, and he had a similar type incident, and he ended up with a crack in his fibula. But you're looking at that situation there. Doesn't look too bad for Nathan Bock because he's back out in the ground. He's got his knee strapped, but he should be okay for the second half.
Thanks, Pickers. Yes, they're already without some experienced players. No Nathan Cracker dropped for essentially the same reason Port were happy to let him go. His commitment waned a little there over summer. No Michael Code, who would have been looking forward to coming back here and playing. The mature age recruit from Sturt. Guy McKenna blaming the new sub rule for his hamstring tear last week, and no Campbell Brown, of course, undisciplined act and out suspended, so they can afford to have Nathan Bock go down, and that's good to see Gary Ablett barking the instructions.
Yeah, they need a big start to this third term and just got to be very competitive and sure with their disposal. Certainly that is what let them down early in that first term. And I'm sure they'll come out firing. Daniel Motlop, Westhoff, very dangerous forward line that just going to cut off the supply to those dangerous forwards. Westhoff has spent a lot of that first half up the ground, but he's very dangerous if isolated deep.
I tell you what, it was great to see them when Gary was had his arm around Harley Bennell, and Bennell had his hand. And as soon as he finished his little talk, Harley just gave him a rub on his bald head there, and just as a show of respect. Well done, Cap. Let's go. There's Kane Corns.
Daniel Pearce to the right, Hataf Rashid, their former media manager at Port Adelaide, now leading the tourism fight in South Australia in the middle, and Kane Corns on the left, just texting away.
A couple of handy players at their best. You'd like to get them back into the side and firing on all cylinders before the year's out.
Well, you'd have to think that Daniel Pearce would be good enough to get into this 22 at the moment, but they're making a statement. Matty Promiston made a statement. I think Kane Corns had a different role as a small defender, which he didn't cope with early, and they had a good win last week after dropping those two players.
The players themselves made a statement in the showdown. See if the Gold Coast can make a statement early here. Free kick. It'll be Thomas's ball. Thomas straight down the middle. Gray drifted forward. Motlop's calling from the square in his direction. It's a spear to Motlop, and he's got it.
Too easy.
Too much space to lead into.
The other thing too, that kick from the centre square clearance, the free kick to Gray, who went forward, you've got to be better than that. That's got to be the hardest kick, I would think, to kick over the man on the mark from the centre circle to the top of the 50-metre arc and no one's around him.
Already got two straight and 2 assists. Daniel Motlop. Perfection.
Just what the Port Adelaide side needed, and that was a free kick. Good clearance from the free kick, but as you touched on, Shuri, this kick has gone to Robbie Gray, and he was actually in space, and there was just slack checking from the midfield of the Gold Coast Suns, allowed Gray to come out the back, and then Motlop was just allowed an enormous amount of space to lead into. So we see here, he's just led into a space that's about 30 or 40 metres, so a really easy target, and he finds space well, good lead, and that went straight through the middle of that kick for goal.
Just the 9 games in 2010 for 10 goals. Daniel Motlop, the worst of his season so far. 3 goals today after 2 goals last week. From the ball up, Fraser, Daniel Stewart. Free kick off the ball.
Another free kick.
Robbie Gray again. So he looks up and sees Matt Thomas out wide. So last time it was a clearance, Thomas to Gray. This time Gray to Thomas to Motlop. Over his head. Still a chance, Surgeon, Motlop, toe poke, edged out, well played by Seb Tape. A little smile from Daniel Motlop.
He's going to try something special there. But we saw just once again from the clearance or the free kick, their run and spread was just far too quick for the Gold Coast Suns. They were asleep.
Gray through traffic, Boak, snaps it, across the face, ball in. Not a bad result for Port Adelaide.
Now, Gary Ablett, just seeing here, Daniel, I think he was trying to flick that up to himself, but he's just thinking ahead. Gary Ablett started in the forward line. I think you've got to get Gary onto the ball, especially early in the third quarter, to try and give him some impetus.
Fraser to down. Daniel Stewart dives in, got it, somehow shuffled it out. Was knocked back under him, and the umpire will ball it up. Sam Hay, Matthew Leopard, and Hayden Kennedy, the umpires today. Hamish Hartlett getting some work done on the buttock.
Buttock?
Yes. Little toe poke out of the trouble from Tate, but he's over it. Dixon, clever handball, and that releases Isles. Stanley, Ablett. On the open side they run. Bennell couldn't really get there and attacking it brilliantly, Pettigrew. Here they go on the rebound. Robbie Gray protected by Corns. Takes off, runs to 50. Motlop about to go! Did go, didn't bring it down. Did everything right. Surgeon ignores Motlop, goes for goal and kicks across the face. Westhoff marks it over the line.
That was set up for a massive Motlop hang. Once again, we saw Corns good block off the ball. Here, Motlop had the run on young Josh Toy. Massive jump, just didn't finish it off.
Tell you what, Josh Toy does not want to be down there at the moment. Every time they look up, his man's the go-to player.
And it's one-on-one. There's plenty of space around Motlop.
Not getting a lot of help.
Bach couldn't trap it. It's a toe on ball. Pittard attacks it and releases it. Boak throws it on the boot. Motlop down there again. Westhoff with him. Westhoff!
They're too big, too strong, and just held his ground against young Jack Hutchins in his first game.
Too much supply at the moment too, isn't it? It's easy.
It is easy. That looked easy. Protected the drop zone, just took a nice little one-hander up against the body.
Coming off the showdown medal win last week. Matthew Westhoff starting to deliver now.
Well, it's just really, you cannot blame, I don't think, the defensive players of the Gold Coast. It's around the midfield. Now, they have had 3 or 4 so easy clearances. Now, this just worked their way, Port Adelaide, to run up the ball. And well done, he just flicked out the ball. I'm trying to see who was that. That was Jasper Pittard, who's good hands. They're just having too many one-on-ones, too much easy clearances. I'd get Ablett onto the ball, and it looks like he's gone to this centre bounce. They need their class players around the contest at the moment.
First goal for Justin Westhoff. 36 points the margin. Biggest lead of the afternoon. Gold Coast need a clearance. They need it now. Ablett couldn't break free with it. Tape was in there, tried to rake it in. Ablett still working hard, fires it out. McKenzie, Roden. Roden keeps his feet. Loses the ball, keeps his feet, gives it up. O'Shea. He's a joy to watch, David Roden. So too Motlop when he's on. Motlop and his Toy. Josh Toy holds him up. Motlop hands it up. He might get it back here. Brow. Motlop chases him down. Back to Toy. And now Ablett. Half back. Not a lot to go to. It's touched. Logan will go. Oh, big fist too by Dixon. Got a piece of ear, piece of arm and a lot of leather. Kicks midfield.
So the players wide.
So Bennell can go. Out of side, McKenzie needs to hit a chest. Isles will do. Pops it to him and he misses him. Chaplin. You can count that as an uncontested possession, but
so is that one actually out in the full.
But he worked hard to get back into the right spot. Troy Chaplin, so a turnover. Centering kick, and Brennan drops the mark on the line. Just don't know what you're going to get with Jared Brennan.
I tell you what, it's pretty hard to coach sometimes.
Oh, yeah, hard. Here's the box of chocolates. Sometimes you think he's a little too soft, and other times it's just hard to pick.
We're getting a bit of Forrest Gump in here today with the box of chocolates and the buttock.
Pittard wide, and we'll have another Gold Coast ball.
They've got another chance here.
They fought back in the second term in this kind of deficit. Bennell.
Because they're obviously through the first month of their football, they're having lapses. They just can't afford to have too long a lapse tonight.
Brennan flies off hands. It hasn't been Swallows' afternoon either. Normally better than this.
Yeah.
Dropped it twice there, and Brennan into the back.
A bit of experience there, just dropped into that tackle and forced Jared Brennan. But you're right, young David Swallow, but has been a lot asked of the young number 1 draft pick, so he just tackled there. And
he's played as a forward today, most. He's an on-baller.
Pushed forward, yeah.
Oh, he's a good on-ball. I get to say, get your class around the ball. Ablett's lifted him also in the last 5 minutes, being pushed up to the ball. I don't think David Swallow, he accumulates the ball well.
But you'd imagine that he's been feeling the weight of expectation and the pinch from having to play in the middle of the ground for extended periods of time over the first month. He's only a very young 18-year-old.
Ablett.
He's lifted.
And again, he can't get the clearance, Ablett. Kick smothered. Crowd wanted holding the ball, but you have to tackle to get holding the ball. For those watching up in Queensland, watching their Gold Coast Suns, maybe new to football, player does have to dispose of the ball legally if he's tackled, but he can dispose of it as he likes if he's just bumped, as long as he doesn't throw it away. Bouncing ball inside 50. Gorringe, he was ridden in the back a little. Swallow finally outside of the foot, across the face. Now Brennan lurking again. Goes to ground, little tap. Pettigrew also goes to ground. Tate dives in, might have the snap. Kicks with the outside of the foot across the face. Good option. Numbers go up. Plenty of players around the ball for Port Adelaide. Hartlett hacks it out of the area, but it'll be coming back.
Well, they've got to score now, the Gold Coast. They've had the ball inside their 50-metre aerial zone for, I would think, the last 6 minutes. So have to score here, as in a goal.
McKenzie tucked up against the boundary. He's almost
he's a beautiful
in
left
the gutter.
foot kick.
He's a beautiful left foot kick, but he's never kicked a goal.
Until now.
And that's a beautiful way of kicking your first goal in AFL footy.
Oh, he's a talented kid and he's a magnificent kick. We saw a few of his forward 50 entries, but Jared Brennan with a bit of nice work where he was outnumbered just to keep the ball in play. Now, I think on this occasion, that might have been an attempted shot at goal, but it's gone the other way to the top of the goal square. But once again, under pressure, and this occasion was Hartlett. He's out in the full. The third one in 5 minutes has gone out in the full, and it went to probably the worst player on the Gold Coast Suns list in that position.
Don't kick a goal, Dwayne.
No, it's almost worth not kicking them. They're going to drag you for it.
Gee, he had enormous confidence in his own ability there, didn't he? Just came around on the arc on the left foot and drilled a dead set straight drop punt. No boomerang intention there.
Ablett.
He's lifted the side here.
An important clearance. He missed Isles with the handball. Isles couldn't really read his mind there. Ablett wanted him to go. Isles came towards him. Stanley gets it up. Swallow. Gets it back to Stanley. Buffeted off it. The game's lifted a cog.
Is it what?
It has. Pace has really picked up. Big numbers around the contest. And it was good effort from both teams there.
They won the third quarter last week, the Gold Coast Suns, when Melbourne got a little complacent. David Roden having a rest. Tap down good. Tate through traffic. Got it up. Harris hacks it forward. Was it touched? Play on. Here's the call. Dished out by Tate. Little too high that time. Jasper Pittard.
Just lets the pressure valve off a little bit for Port Adelaide. Or Adelaide, not yet.
Pittard takes him on. Carlisle. Hitchcock. And a little wide kick to Logan. He's held up. So hugging the boundary. Corns. Nudge from Bob. A couple of old combatants there from showdowns past. One hand in the back from Bock. He's not the Bock we know. He's a little injured, but trying to fight on. Corns, Salopek, and now Westhoff. Plays on. Surgeons inside 50. Stewart.
Well done.
And Hutchins, the first gamer. Stood his ground in the middle. Takes off. Pass needs to be good. It's not quite. Pettigrew. Port Adelaide know they're in a little hole here. Modler squeezes it towards Hartlett. Too wide, out on the full.
That's four. 4 out in the fulls in about 7 minutes.
29 points the margin. Gold Coast came out after half-time against Melbourne last week and played their best footy in their short time in the AFL, and they're doing it again now. Carmichael Hunt. Game number 4.
Port Adelaide pushed all their numbers over in this press.
Sits it up. Zach Smith in the middle of the pack.
I don't think he knew he had that, to be fair. That's a good grade.
And if you continue to mark the balls that aren't yours, you've got a long future ahead of you. Hands it off to Danny Stanley. Does Weller. He thumps it long. Swallow inside 15, a one-on-one. Carlisle with him. Carlisle forced to seek the boundary. Now, how would the umpire call that? Not deliberate.
Too much pressure there. Too much pressure. Gee, well done, G. They've lifted up. Gary Ablett, he's been the difference going into the midfield. They just again need a goal here because reward for effort.
Gee, Stewart dumped there.
That's holding the ball.
It's interesting. It was a short throw in. I think the umpire for a second was going to ask the boundary umpire to throw it in again. Almost sucks Stewart in to go and get that, and Riscatelli can line up.
Well, this is the rule. A little bit stiff here, though. I mean, he had to go well 40.
How can you ruck that?
Well, you have no prior opportunity in that situation, but he certainly...
You lose your prior opportunity when you take it out of the ruck.
Well, that's right, but he certainly didn't have any chance to get rid of it.
So, Michael Riscatelli, been their best player so far today.
He's done it again.
And that is gold. 23 points the margin.
Well, they're just hanging in there. They're certainly weighted numbers have been, their forward 50 entries have been very good in this quarter, and the ability to actually hold the ball in their forward 50 has probably been the real difference. That one's just an unlucky one. It is to the letter of the law.
Daniel Stewart.
A little unlucky for Daniel Stewart, but that is a very good goal. Has two very good conversions from Michael Riscatelli, and just gives the Gold Coast Suns a sniff halfway through the third quarter.
Say it, Dwayne.
Well, the strange part is he's their best player.
Well,
he's given them momentum. I know they want to take players off after goals, but this is one instance where I'd definitely say don't do it.
At least you can understand that he's on ball, so he's been working hard.
Might have been a rotation.
I don't understand with the forwards that have probably been standing there, not doing a lot.
Yeah, you'd rest him forward surely in this bit of momentum you've got. Get all your best players out there whilst the momentum is yours. 23 points the margin. They've kicked 2 goals in a row, the Gold Coast.
Massive space either side of this stoppage.
Westhoff thumps it forward. Surgeon, little tap. Harbrow, Surgeon comes out towards Tape. Slips his way through some traffic. Weller. It's been good as the late inclusion. Fraser and Chaplin. Chaplin's been superb, but not this time. Charlie Dixon steals it. Little 1-2. Does well with Stanley. Then he drops it. Dixon back in. Ablett wants it. If they get it to him, he can go. And he does go. Takes them on. Sidesteps. Runs to 55. Sends it goalward and he misses.
That's 2 of those at that end of the ground that he's just missed. The great effort to get it out of that clearance.
He kicked those in the stripes.
Yeah.
In the hoops.
Tell you what, I've been impressed with Charlie Dixon. Just his competitive work across half forward has been sensational.
That's out the 4 again.
Is that the 4th?
5th.
5th in this quarter.
That's 4th over there. That one over here.
They're under the pump at the moment. They're doing well here, the Suns. As I said, the more time you keep it in your forward zone, you'll get your shots at goal.
Long bomb.
Oh.
Swallow up, but dropped it on the way down. And might get a free, gives on away. Troy Chaplin's ball. I think he was disappointed he didn't hold it there.
Had a good run at it too. I think he got plenty on it. Oh, yeah.
Broadbent.
Touched.
Play on Salopek. They attack him. Travis Boak, little fumble, it's all it takes. Brennan, Gorringe, Isles. Poor kick. Logan, turnover. Brennan hassles well here.
Well done.
Drags it in though, that means trouble. Needs to get it out, does. Roden, who always keeps his feet in that instance. Hassled out of there. Dixon, knocked it to Broadbent. And Westhoff somehow. Hands to Modlop, open forward line, no one to go to. Just bangs it long into space and gives it a race. O'Shea, Carmichael Hunt,
well done,
Carmichael. He did well there. He sensed that it was a 2-on-1 and he needed to be the man to provide the body, not the ball getting. Because the kick was better from Harbrow than from him.
Well, that was great work from Harbrow to execute that kick. That was a 50-metre penalty.
Just said he ran into the protected area, which is a 5-metre Zone.
But to reinforce your point here, Shorey, that was a
good play by
great block from
Carmichael.
Carmichael Hunt. He's just starting to understand the game a little.
Tape short. They've got the method back at the moment. Swallow.
And go wide here.
Now Matera's his target. Matera's got it. He's already kicked 2 today.
Well, that was good. I don't know whether it was deliberate. They left space. They're on.
Plays onto the pocket. Bad option, Logan. Back yourself in.
Yeah, this is what kills them, none of these turnovers. This is what Guy McKenna said earlier this week. Now, those little mistakes are costing. They're on top of this game in general play.
West offline towards Eben. Collects, takes on Bock. Motlop's the target this time. Gets there.
You know what tends to happen in this sort of situation?
Motlop takes on Toy again. Spears it. Harbrow. So to the open side they fan. Mackenzie, who started the fire earlier, kicked a brilliant goal, and the Gold Coast have had a run on since then. They're winning this quarter at the moment. To the wing, Dixon drags his man down.
Just felt the pressure, just needed to make a contest and get the ball to ground. In the end, just pulled his direct opponent to ground and gave a free kick away.
Comes off for a rest. So they've used their sub, I think. Russell coming on. We'll check with Liam Pickering. Carmichael Hunt. Hands it back. Nathan Bock.
Gorringe has gone off, Dwayne.
Okay. So Bock looks like he's okay. They've used their sub. Taken the punt. Swallow. In a one-on-one. Logan, Swallow. Swallow tunnels it out. Just got to pass Stanley. Back to Russell. Fresh man on. Lays a bump. Weller. Poor handball, went for Swallow. He does well. He is down. He's got some concussion issues too, Logan. He's had a few in the past. This could be trouble for him. He's still down. Ball thumped towards the boundary and we'll get a ball in. It's been a massive talking point. And Tom Logan had some concussion issues last year. He's too reckless for his own good.
He's just got hit pretty hard there from David Swallow. Stayed down for a little bit, but he's made his way back to his feet.
From the ball in, we'll keep an eye on him as well. Port Adelaide might be a man down. Eben hands it up. O'Shea, Salopek, great. Caught, slung, just got it away. Short pass, Salopek, out of trouble, Stewart.
Well, Robbie Gray really slung back into play then, wasn't it? They held him facing the other way, but good hands to just break away from that contest on half back.
Boys, you can just see there Daniel Gorringe with the red vest on, so he's been substituted, and Luke Russell on for the Gold Coast.
So Luke Russell, 19-year-old, who made his debut last week, and Gorringe, the Norwood boy, back home, having a rest for the rest of the game. But all eyes on Port Adelaide's late inclusion, Daniel Stewart. Crowd rise because it's there. First class.
Just the answer that Port Adelaide needed. They've been under siege and really struggled to penetrate the forward 50. And on this occasion, that was well worked from Robbie Gray to actually have a bit of composure to look when a free teammate had opened up. And that's a beautiful pass to the big ruckman in Stewart. And nice conversion. So they've weathered the storm. And to be fair, they're probably lucky to be as far in front as they are.
Daniel Stewart.
Interesting substitution here too, boys, with David Roden. Doesn't look all that thrilled about being substituted. Jason Davenport on for the Power.
Okay, so the two subs have been used from the ball up. Big 6.5 minutes coming up here. It's been late in the quarters when Port Adelaide have been able to overrun the Gold Coast. Brennan with a clearance here. Just bangs it long in hope. Chaplin with the fly, knocked it down. Harris steals it, gives it to Isles. Evades an attempted tackle, kicks toward goal. Hits the post. Sam Isles, said earlier, first AFL game for the Gold Coast. Has come back to AFL after 7 games for Collingwood back in 06-07. Delisted and playing for Hawthorn's reserves in the VFL for a year or so. Wide kick, Corns the target. Seb Tate just had his hand on his jumper there.
Started with Tate tripping and just tried to maintain his feet and had hold of the jumper of Corns.
Westhoff half held. Riscatelli got a hand on it. Knocked it down past Harris. Carmichael Hunt lays a bump. Ablett, little toe poke. Gets up and gives. Riscatelli bangs it long again. They've had their share of inside 50s. And they make something of this one. Bennell knocked it down. Logan, Pettigrew, pushed on the kick. Matera tried to track it down. Kick 2 from tight angles already. Opens it up. Hands it out. McKenzie. Just eluded him for the wrong moment. Dives in, gets it back. Isles hands it up. Matera again. Backwards to go forward. Russell, kick smothered. Boak. Knocked it to Surgeon. And they're away here.
Oh, they're away. Motlop's in space.
So Motlop on his own. He's got Daniel Stewart all alone at full forward. Needs to run off and kick it long. Does kick it long. Daniel Stewart had time to wipe his hands.
Well, that started with Josh Toy, though, on Motlop. What happened out in the wing, Josh Toy left Motlop and could not stop the ball in flow. So it just then, it was a chain just go over the top. And then his man, his teammate tried to help him out, Toy, on Motlop, and that allowed Stewart to be here. So just got to learn Josh Toy. Let him, stay on your man and allow him to kick the ball or not handball over the top like that.
For his second for the quarter.
He's pulled
that's
back.
a shank.
And maybe it's the pressure.
Well, they're certainly under pressure. They've just got to get the pressure onto the scoreboard, the Gold Coast Suns.
Matthew Primus. The eyes next to him of Dean Laidley just peering above the advertising board. Play on as Toy thumps it long. Dixon flies, got a hand on it, couldn't bring it down. Riscatelli's been superb. Harris. Sure what he was trying to do there. Stanley knocks it out. Harris, they're keeping it in. Zach Smith.
On the left.
Caught with the numbers though. Salopek takes the mark.
One area I reckon Kai McKenna would be pretty happy with has been the clearance work today, boys. 27-21 overall Gold Coast lead and 9-8 out of the middle.
Yeah, Port Adelaide without Dean Brogan as well would have helped that stat. Chaplin wide. Hitchcock, did he get an arm slap? No, free. McKenzie did well. Russell gives to McKenzie as a reward. Open forward line if they can get it down there. Danny Stanley looks up. There's one-on-ones ahead. Bennell the target. Low trajectory kick. Can't get it to him. In the hole, Pettigrew. Jackson Trengove. Short pass Davenport. Just on Robbie Gray. And he takes on Carmichael Hunt. Looks inboard, back to Davenport. Second effort, superb. But as a sub coming on fresh, you kind of need to do that.
I just want to show Josh Toy. You can see him there, number 20. He left Motlop to come up to that ball. Unless you can stop that player in his tracks and make him kick over you, that allowed the kick, the run on that. And Josh Toy had to try and get back to his teammate, helped out there. So just to show, they're the decisions that make you a very good footballer down the track. I think he will be a good footballer. But, it was an easy goal in the end.
Here was the other change to the team that beat the Crows in the showdown last week. Jason Davenport coming in. Daniel Stewart replacing Brogan as well. Hasn't missed a shot at goal this year. 3 straight. 4 straight. Under pressure. Comes up trumps.
Certainly their efficiency inside 50 now is getting much better. Davenport working extremely hard, and Stewart's the other one has been very good in this quarter. But Davenport, he does find space. When he comes on in the midfield, he works extremely hard. Knows he's only got about a quarter and a half to work, and he does that very well. So Gold Coast got to keep an eye on him and make sure they get their hands on the ball out of this clearance if they're going to be any chance in this game.
Gave that up, Carmichael Hunt, when he saw that the mark had been taken. 27 minutes gone, third term. Back out to a 34-point lead. Fraser with the clearance to half forward. No mark, Danny Stanley tries to tap it out. Weller lays a half tackle on Boak. Haven't given this one up to Gold Coast. Ball up. Inside 2 minutes to 3/4 time. Port Adelaide led by 19 at quarter time, 23 at half time. Currently 34 points. Westhoff with the big fist, knocks it down. Boak, almost a trip. Broadbent back against the flow. Pittard. And now their confidence is back. Runs half back, takes them on. Creates the loose man. Kick not so good, although Hitchcock. It was a very effective 3-metre kick.
Did he mean that?
Corns told to play on. Sits it up high. Motlop's coming hard. He was held by Toy. And Motlop is playing with him.
Yeah, he was certainly under a lot of pressure, young Josh Toy. There actually is a Port Adelaide player in their defensive 50 down at the moment, and in a fair amount of discomfort as well. As Daniel Motlop, there's a lot of concern about him at the moment. He's just looks like slowly getting to his feet. So he may have been winded. Daniel Motlop, he just, as a defender on a talented player like this, it is a stressful time. So Josh Toy was dragging the free kick.
And that's his 4th goal for the afternoon. Daniel Motlop is back.
Well, you can see Broadbent here. No doubt got a hit to the head. Looked like he was out there for a second. Let's see what happens here. Gets the handball away. Oh, just got winded, I think.
Yeah.
Might have got one in the ribs. So he'll be right, I would think. Yeah, just hit him right on the right spot under the rib cage. But well done, Daniel Motlop. He's had a lot of space to work in. I know Josh Toy, I feel for one like you, Lynchy, but I don't think a lot of the times any fullback would have stopped with the space he's been allowed to have in that forward 50.
Broadbent could be done for the day.
Just searching for a bit of breath back in the lungs.
Unfortunately for David Roden, he won't be coming back on because he's got the red vest on. So if he's done for the day, they're one short.
And the ball up. Hartlett. Stole a bit of handball. Missed the target. Ablett is away. God from Brennan. Needs to kick the goal, Gary Ablett. They need the captain to kick it long.
Oh, that is
and strong. Take that.
Well, I think the fortunes in this game, they changed when Ablett went onto the ball from being, after half-time, he started as a small forward. But that's exactly what Gary Ablett can do. And there was no one known he was even thinking about passing this off because he knows, as Dwayne said, they needed a captain's goal, and his conversion from there, just sensational finishing. That's why he's such a champion player. Never even thought about passing that ball, Gary Ablett.
Well, no need to tell you, he's been in the press all week, Gary Ablett, called a party boy, and told that his rehab and recovery hasn't quite been what it should be by a couple of well-known people, including Paul Roos. And he's trying to make a statement, but he needs to make it again.
Here he goes.
Off he goes.
Good hands.
Look away handball. Brennan, who gave it to him last time, to full forward. Zach Smith's down there, couldn't take it. Alapate Carlisle.
That's
wide ball.
too.
Bounces just in the field of play. And almost deliberately taken out by Stephen Salopek.
That was absolutely deliberate to take that one over the line, but it would have been hard to pull up. But another goal here. Only one opportunity in the last 20 seconds of this term.
Cut it back inside 30 points. Swallows steals. Gave it up. Russell, the sub, fresh man, dives in, can't make something of it. Ball still alive inside 50. Ablett, he's been the man. Stanley, kick smothered, still alive. Seconds tick down. Russell again. They're back in it. On the buzzer. The Gold Coast Suns are inspired. They've been smashed in their first 3 games this year, the Gold Coast, but 28 points down at three-quarter time. There's life in this one. 14-7-91, plays 9-9-63. Calling from the square in his direction. It's a spear to Motlop, but he's got it. Daniel Motlop. Perfection. Motlop about to go! Did go, didn't bring it down. Stole it, but a handball missed the target. Ablett is away. God from Brennan needs to kick the goal, Gary Ablett. They need the captain to kick it long. And strong. Ablett, he's been the man. seconds tick down. Russell again. They're back in it on the buzzer. This one far from done at three-quarter time. Port Adelaide under siege. They do lead by 28 points, but they're a man down. Broadbent looks like he won't be able to come back on, and they've already used their sub, the Gold Coast, the closest they've been at three-quarter time in any game so far. 14-7-91 to 9-9-63. Liam Pickering downstairs.
Yeah, great third quarter there by the Gold Coast team. Gary Ablett leading the way. I think he had 9 possessions that quarter. But what the pressure I think that was put on by the Gold Coast is what caused a lot of turnovers by Port Adelaide. And the perceived pressure in the end, it meant that these good kicks like Troy Chaplin out of defence, out in the full. And if you go through, this became a pattern. There were 6 times they kicked the ball under no real pressure out on the full. And it's disappointing. You're looking at Matty Promise wouldn't be all that happy. There's some pretty skillful players here. And Hamish Harlett just in the back pocket. But I reckon that's come from the pressure all over the ground put on by the Gold Coast. Daniel Motlop kicking one out in the full. So it's an area they've got to get a little bit better here, Port Adelaide, because they've left the door open for the Gold Coast, who after the last couple of goals of the quarter will give themselves a sneaky chance here.
They certainly would, Pickers. I mean, I think it's been a good quarter from Port Adelaide, but I think the pressure, as you touched on, has been very good for the Gold Coast Suns. They just have to get the reward on the scoreboard.
Opening few seconds might set the standard here. Three-quarter time. Final term underway. Zach Smith been good in the ruck again. They won a long list of clearances under immense pressure, the Gold Coast today.
Dwayne Matthew Broadbent is out in the ground, so he's recovered from that injury.
Good news for Port Adelaide. They're led by 19 at quarter time, 23 at half time, 28 points right now. Zach Smith almost had a foot grab there. Harbrow takes off. Hutchins been pretty good in game one. Back to Zach Smith and some space. Back inside, takes them on. Looks the goods. McKenzie to Brennan. She had it and lost it.
Did all the hard work to get rid of his opponent, but dropped the mark.
A show to Pittard. That's a push. A Toys ball. Been taken off Motlop by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think he'd be happy with that up the ground on Robbie Gray now, but he's a dangerous player too.
McKenzie, we know he can use it. Sees the pass target, goes wide, Riscatelli. Possession number 25 for him, short, Danny Stanley. Kickable.
It is kickable. They work their way across the field into that space very well. Carmichael Hunt has got the Motlop match-up now.
See, that was great by Riscatelli then. He just said to Stanley, slow down, take it on, a goal will put some pressure on. Good leadership from Riscatelli to settle things down.
This is a massive kick from 50. Gives it a roost. It'll drop a little short. Dixon!
Gee, I've been impressed with this kid.
Well, you've been impressed more because of his second and third efforts, which has been fantastic. He hasn't been that clean over his head today, but that is a clunking mark.
And what a start this would be. Put the cat amongst the pigeons here, Charlie Dixon. And they've got a sniff. Cuts the margin to 22 points.
Isn't that just what you want from your big forward? To be able to leap in a pack and make a contest. Not always take the mark, but at least make a big contest. Now, this is a long ball to the line. Now, Port Adelaide, Matty Primus will be very disappointed this wasn't killed over the line with a big, strong punch. But that's a big man at 200 centimetres. There's jumps. There's been plenty of big defenders around him, but that's a very good mark in front of his face.
Troy Chaplin just missed the body then.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed with that one. I'm sure during the week, it just might be a little bit of vision that the Port defenders will look at.
Plenty of support here for the Gold Coast Suns. And maybe being this close late in the game will inspire them. They've got youth on their side, young legs. Robbie Gray rolls it forward. Hutchins slipped it behind. Boak took candy from the baby there, Travis Boak. High kick inside 50. Trengove, Boak, Corns, they're all down there. Carmichael Hunt, he attacked it. Body on the line, left it behind. Trengove against the flow.
Well, almost Carmichael Hunt didn't deserve to concede a goal, or his team concede a goal. He straight lined the ball, put his head and shoulders over in line, knocked the ball forward. This is great work in the centre of the ground to get this ball forward. Chad Corns gets forward of the ball, but this is where Carmichael Hunt went and straight lined the ball. But that's good work from Stewart to get off his knees and snap the ball around his body. And that's a very quick reply for Port Adelaide.
A fumble from Jack Hutchins on the centre square. He fumbled and then they broke a tackle. So, again, those little things that these youngsters are under a bit of pressure, it'd be better for that, but that turnover was costing them. We can just see him on the back of the square there.
That was Trengove, not Stewart, as I called.
Trengove, first goal of the year, hasn't played a lot forward this year. He ducked into that.
Gone.
And no free. Hartlett toes it off the deck, doesn't get it far. Harbrow, Ablett, Stanley. It opens up for them. Riscatelli. Oh, he's gone! Superb tackle, crunched by Davenport, and they're away on the open side. Daniel Stewart, he's got Motlop lurking. He leaves it, Motlop, it hits the deck. Carmichael Hunt, that's got to be a free in any form of any footy.
Well done.
Good to get off his man and put the spoil in with his left hand to start with. So that was good work.
Attacked the ball well, hasn't he, once it's in the air?
That's a better kick from Carmichael Hunt. Zach Smith buffeted it out of it. Goodard. Look away, handball didn't work. Cut off. Dixon got the handball out, missed the target. Daniel Stewart back, bangs it to Motlop. 1-on-1. Carmichael Hunt with him, and he's doing okay right now. Carmichael can't take it out here. Does, just in time.
One thing he does do a bit too much at the moment early in his career, Carmichael Hunt, is he goes to ground quite a bit. But he probably doesn't need to. Like here, for example, just goes to ground.
Crowd starting to roar here at Amy. Back in, Zach Smith down to Hutchins. No prior opportunity there. Dispossessed, was thrown out. Swallow throws it out in hope. Harbrow, Logan attacks it as he always does. Matera, though, got the steal back. High kick, out of side. Brennan. Carlisle. Brennan. Good tackle. Matera back in again. Handballs it up to Swallow. Needs to give it quickly. Does. Bennell. Good tackle by Surgeon. Dragged down. And the umpire pins him. Didn't look to have a lot of prior opportunity there.
Yeah, he still didn't. What he had to do was throw his hand in and out like he wanted to get rid of it, but he didn't. You watch. He has to try and handball.
His arms
even the they are pinned. That is a bit harsh, but he held it in there.
Bit harsh. Thomas held up. 28 points the margin. It's the closest the Gold Coast have been in a final term for the year so far. Motlop bumped out of it. Ball hits the deck. Broadbent looked to be hurt earlier. Still playing. Davenport, Motlop, short, pocket, Corns, spills it, gives it back, Davenport, outside of the boot, can't kick the miracle, and it's out on the full, Gold Coast ball.
Chad Corns probably a little unlucky to get not to get a free kick for tripping when his direct opponent fell, clipped his ankles.
Crowd can sense a bit of a moment here. Josh Toy.
Difficult kick, this one.
You'd like to see a bit more movement though ahead, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Long towards Zach Smith, he can't get near it. That's a good pluck, Swallow, and he takes them on. They've got three out there. Brennan over the top. Bennell knocks it down. Matera left it behind, slides into it, gets up, he's got it.
Oh, he's pile driven.
He was, and he's hurt. Stolen back by Harris, and they're away. Handball's inboard. Weller, he's caught, dropped it. Crowd wanted ball, don't get it. It's a frenzy at the moment. Brent kicks high.
Oh, he's dropped that.
Ablett comes at Carlisle, worries him out of it. Tied up in there, ball up.
You just see Gary, he was going to be caught holding the ball then. No one only could get that ball out, but he made out that he was trying to get it out.
That's when you know like to get a little fist into someone's head. It's right near the ball.
Little angry midfielder down the bench. Besson Ferris was surprisingly with that sort of stuff.
Sure, you know what I'm talking about.
Why say me?
I'm sure he wrote that book.
Crowd on their feet. This is a game Port Adelaide, especially their fans, would have put down as 4 easy points. It hasn't been that. Brennan again. Gets it on the boot, wide. Dixon flies. Again, Charlie Dixon.
Well, Charlie Dixon in the last 2 rounds has probably dropped a fair few marks. You know what he's realised? During the week he's half blind. So he's playing in contact lenses for the first time this week. And he's just actually starting to really see him in this last quarter.
I don't reckon he had him on the first half.
He might have just picked him up out of the locker at half time, but he certainly clunked a few.
This is a massive kick. Biggest kick of the game. The ball with contacts. Makes beautiful contact. It's a goal. Back to 22 points.
Well, I want to go back to early in the game because I still think his competitiveness at the ball, he mightn't have been as clean with his hands, showed out very early. He's just been a big body. Brennan's got a couple of crucial touches here. Quick kick forward. It's all you need to do, but that's a good mark. Alipati Carlisle, one-on-one sometimes in the body-on-body, just doesn't get it done. And I'll tell you what, the Suns have found the future star here, I think.
He's a big man, 107 kilos and 200 centimetres. It's a fair-sized scone as well. He's a big man.
All their senior players having a bit of an impact as well.
Yeah, they are. Brennan's coming into his own. Abbott's been fantastic in the second half.
Gold Coast confidence growing by the second. Swallow.
So's he.
Yeah,
right first half, but he's been good in the second half. Swallow gets them forward. Where's Dixon? Can't go at this. There he is. He got the handball up. Doesn't want to have the shot at goal. Matera. Now he does. And drives it through. 16 points.
Oh, there's still Port Adelaide players on the ground. Wally's boys just snagged another one, and they're confident. Charlie Dixon's getting involved. David Swallow, who was very quiet. I think he had 5 disposals in the first half from memory, but he's just starting to have some real key touches, along with Ablett, Riscatelli, and Brennan's getting some important clearances. So, they're up and about. There was no doubt about that. They're excited. This young, talented team is just starting to think halfway through this last term, they're a chance to win this.
Charlie Dixon just didn't smash the pack open. He also recovered and got the handball out to Matera. So he's having a little purple patch in here. Oh, they hurt himself, sorry.
Yeah, they crashed in together.
Crashed in himself, but Charlie still read it well.
Ball up. Riscatelli, he's away. Thumps it long. Dixon's down there. Brennan's down there. Chaplin goes the fist and not the mark. Chad Corns, almost a turnover. Riscatelli, Swallow bursts his way through. Ablett waiting for the spillage. Gets it, they've got him. Logan's down again. I mentioned earlier, he's had some concussion issues in previous seasons. He got a heavy one earlier and another one there.
Well, we've said a few times, actually, Tommy Logan is so brave, but he doesn't protect his head.
No, you're right. Good point. That wasn't no fault of anybody, Riscatelli, but he did put himself in that dangerous position.
Fraser off the side. Chad Corns, some poise.
Well, that's where they've broken the glass now, and they've sent the All-Australian centre-half back, the experienced campaigner, to play loose man defence in Chad Corns, just to shore up things at the moment.
Oh, great kick.
Yeah, you can feel the pressure down here, boys. Don't worry about that. They're dominating the clearances here. Gold Coast 6-1 for the quarter.
Isles short. Looking for Weller, off hands. Stanley, Riscatelli, Josh Fraser. Rise to the moment, Josh. Sends it long. Misses.
Oh, the old fella.
It's almost a mark.
Jeez, it was almost a mark. Jared Brennan's just jumped over the line and nearly plucked that one. Need a very strong zone here. They've actually gone pretty much man-on-man in this contest. So they're man-on-man the Gold Coast.
Carlisle long. Hutchins went up, got a hand to it. Almost a trip on Isles.
Oh, you don't.
Oh, no.
That's harsh.
The clean-up on Isles. That was extremely harsh. O'Shea. Hugs the boundary. Westhoff down there. Trengo, big fly. Couldn't take the mark. Broadbent hacks it forward. Motlop and Toy again.
Oh, big one-on-one here.
Motlop to his own advantage. Manhandled. Hassled. Toe poke. Josh Toy wins that battle.
Well, he did enough not to give away the free kick, but actually put enough pressure on. What's going to happen here? Played out the full,
Yeah, out of the full off the boot. So be filthy now, Daniel Motlop. He thought he was held in that contest, but well done, the toy. Just kept the pressure at and didn't hold a jumper.
Didn't hold the jump, just slapping the side of the body. And Daniel Motlop's at his most dangerous in that one-on-one situation.
Natives a little restless. They're even standing on their feet holding their babies, yelling out. Harbrow back inboard. This is dangerous territory right now. Ablett. Handball up just in time. They're 3 goals from the lead, the Gold Coast, and they're inspired. Weller handballs it up. Topoke off the deck. Logan, he is an inspiration. Heads it wide. Hitchcock, Swallow, throws that over his head, Hitchcock, and gets away with it. Thomas through his legs. Hitchcock dives in.
Contest.
Both players head first. Who do you pick that out for?
Yeah, it's got to be a free kick, but it was a fantastic contest.
The attempt from Swallow was to get under the Port Adelaide player and just didn't hit the head. So, fair enough, but tried to get under the player to draw the in-the-back free kick.
Hitchcock to Motlop. It sits a little. Good fist. McKenzie this time, not Toy. Isles caught again. Made the attempt, put it out. McKenzie slaps it on. Hitchcock can't keep it alive. 21,287 fans here at AAMI Stadium. I guarantee you, everyone came here thinking this would be a Port win. 15 points the margin. You could be about to see some history. Ablett sidesteps a couple.
Dangerous.
Harris manhandled off it, gets the kick away. Brilliant. Matera long. Carlisle, Zach Smith. Carlisle on his hands and knees. Smith drags him down. Pettigrew, gang tackled. Stanley drags him down. No prior opportunity.
Gee, there's clearances. I tell you what, Port have been killed and smashed in the clearances all year. Matter of fact, even last week's win. And it's showing out here.
Adelaide went sensational in the second half. Riscatelli all day.
Ken Hinkley, Dean Solomon, Guy McKenna working overtime. As every player on the field is right now. Pettigrew with the clearance. Stanley pushing the back too high.
Too high, well done. He actually steered his body into that tackle to make sure he got the high contact.
Now, Chad Corns is behind play here. Loose man in defence. So he's going to try and kick it to this zone. He centred it.
Puts it up in hope. Bennell.
That's a free kick.
Free kick, Gold Coast Suns.
My word, he did. That's a free kick, Burnell.
And the boos ring around AAMI Stadium.
Well, they do because the pressure is mounting on every player on the ground at the moment for Port Adelaide.
This kick to make it a 9-point margin. Harley Bennell. He's never had a bigger kick than this. From 49, he likes it. He loves it.
Well, if this goes south for Matty Primus, thought you saw a good spray quarter time last week. You'll see a ripper after the game today because they've been smashed in a number of facets of the game. Not on the scoreboard as yet, but the clearance work, the ability of the Gold Coast Suns to put their head over the ball. Now, this is into a dangerous position, but it's long and puts pressure on the defence. Now, young Burnell has had his right arm held there and been in a dangerous spot. He's in front of goals and converts.
The one thing about that kick, although if it turned over, you think it's dangerous. I thought it was a good kick in one way. It got 2 one-on-one contests there. If he went down the line a bit more, that's where I said Chad Corns was sitting. So they took a risk. Well done.
Clearance, no need to tell you. It's important. And Swallow.
Hasn't he been good?
Thumps it long. Fraser's down there. Bennell goes up. Can't mark it. Offhand. Stab it. Goal. Stanley.
Oh, that's it.
It's bending. It's bending.
Oh, it's hit the top of the post.
Touched the top of the post.
Oh, that has hit the top of the goalpost.
Sorry, Dwayne, I was jumping out of my roll there, getting a little excited. It's a close one.
Well, that's what it's all about. This one is emotion-packed. This is the game of the year so far. Gary Ablett has been inspiring in the second half. Dumps it long and wide. Harris, the experienced men standing up.
He's lifted Daniel Harris and Swallow and Ablett. Very, very important on ballers at the moment.
Well, Dixon's on Tommy Logan in the forward 50. Got to isolate Dixon.
Ablett, 18 minutes gone. Ton of time left in this.
He's been fantastic, Swallow. This quarter, just brilliant.
very quiet first half.
They really got to get it to Dixon here.
Sits it up. Dixon can't get a run at it. Bennell's down there. Surgeon to the boundary.
And just it was probably the players around Charlie Dixon had to identify that there was a match-up issue. And the big thing was get Charlie Dixon in that one-on-one situation isolated with Tommy Logan.
Fraser, 2 to beat. Harris attacked it, just left it behind. Zach Smith. Toe poke away from him. Matera, no way, not from there.
Dixon.
High kick, Dixon! Got hands to it, off hands. Harris ducks back, kicks around the body, misses. 7 points.
He's pulled the ears off that one, pulled it around too far. They're under siege here. Absolutely under siege. They continue to have this one-on-one situation instead of the zone for the kick-outs. It's worked for them. Port Adelaide are going to huddle up.
Well, they should. And you know,
they're too slow to actually huddle up.
They're off the bit and Chapman's going to get out here.
The biggest problem they've got is that they're not winning the one-on-ones, Port Adelaide.
No, they're certainly not.
This crowd is stunned. Wide ball. Carmichael Hunt, big fist.
That's a good fist against the bigger opponent in Chad Corns, and obviously much more experienced. They've got to stand up for the experienced players of Port Adelaide now.
2 coaches young at the trade. McKenna v Primus. Can they make the move that'll be decisive?
Another clearance.
Harbrow. Bounce to half forward. Brennan. Run down. Ablett signs his way through. Gives it out. Matera kicks a goal. This is astonishing.
Oh, little Brandon Matera, he's flying, but the stoppage work around every...
Andrew Swallow was sensational there.
Well, he's been great again, and some good work here from Brennan to get rid of his direct opponent. See Ablett, whose work rate has just picked up after the first quarter, and once again, Brandon Matera, he's a talented young player, especially around the goals. Swallow, Ablett, Riscatelli have been fantastic in this second half. Well, they're excited. Brandon Matera, 4 goals. He's been one of the shining lights for the young Gold Coast Suns in this first month of football, and he's standing up with a number of his teammates when it counts.
We're ticking to time on, final term.
Here's another clearance.
Ablett, hands and knees left it behind. Swallow's been superb. Off the side slightly, Mark. They could take the lead here and now. Russell bangs it long and wide. Charlie Dixon on the run. Halapate Carlisle. Dixon. He faked the handball, dragged down. No free. Surgeon threw it away. No free. Umpires have put the whistle away. Boak. Salopek. Port Adelaide needs some players to stand up now. Little toe poke Davenport. Wide to Hartlett. They lead by 1 solitary point, Port Adelaide. Ebert. This was a game they weren't just expected to win. They were expected to win by 8 goals. Long, Daniel Stewart.
Oh, that's a great grab. He's been good, especially early, Stewart.
22 minutes gone, 6 and change to come.
Zach Smith gets back into the goal square. I think he'd just be outside his length on that side of the ground.
He's probably got the win a little bit behind him, if anything.
Going to go for it. 52 out. Gets onto it. One behind.
Just pulled it, looking for those extra few metres. Big kick out for Nathan Bock, the experienced campaigner. David Swallow, 10 possessions in the last term. 5 in the first half.
Bock. Bangs it long. Daniel Stewart rises. It's blocked by Riscatelli.
Yeah, great. What a great game this bloke's played too.
Big leap over the ruckman.
Coming up with 31 possessions here.
Let's not forget the margin got out to 40 points in the third quarter. So it's been full of spirit and full of merit here at the Gold Coast.
Swallow goes up. Robbie Gray spins out of a tackle. Hartlett, he collides with Thomas. Chips it inside 50. Over the head of Tringo. Motlop. He's got to be the man. He's got 3 on him here. Taps to his own advantage. All 3 come at him. Wrapped up by McKenzie. Goes it again. Takes it out.
Did well then. Did well to just keep it in the area.
He did, and he was up against it. He was outnumbered. And that's credit to the Gold Coast as well. Push numbers back. Matty Primus is just barking instructions down to his runner.
This would be a season killer for Port Adelaide. Toy hacks it clear. Both players tie up. Broadbent fresh on. Can't get there. Westhoff got there first. Hartlett back with the flight. Players wouldn't know how long left. They look at the board. There's 24 minutes gone. And this becomes a huge kick in the context of Port Adelaide's season.
From this side, he's more of a chance to give this one a shake. Once again, Smith has dropped back onto the line by himself.
From just outside 50, Hartlett, horrendous.
They almost don't want to win this, Port Adelaide. As good as the Gold Coast have been, Port Adelaide have just let slip in so many areas.
Everyone takes a breath. Bok bangs it long. Dixon, Smith, Stewart, they're all there. Stewart couldn't mark. Swallow got his hands free, dropped it, and then kicked it. Chaplin got the handball out just in time. Little fumble, Hartlett. He's a tired man right now. Pittard hacks it long. Josh Toy stands under it. Robbie Gray up. Spills it down. Hitchcock gathers. Ablett drags him down. Ball still alive. Hutchins. It's knocked out. O'Shea bumped off it. Still alive. Ablett again.
Oh, well done.
If they can clear it from here, they've got 3 men.
Matera's in space.
Well, it knocks it to Matera. The free man is available. It's Harris. Matera sends it long to Harris. They can take the lead. They're 2 points down. Russell's inside 50. Bennell's inside 50. Fraser for the lead.
Oh, Josh Fraser was just wandering down through the corridor and all his teammates drew their opponents away, took their Port Adelaide opponents deep into the goal square and let Fraser all by himself.
200 games for Collingwood. I'm not sure he's ever had a moment this big. To give the Gold Coast the lead with less than 3 minutes to play in search of their first victory.
He's missed it.
Oh, he's missed it.
But they have been good at this situation. Man on man, they'll go again. Just it's so important that no one drops off. Actually, they've dropped into a zone.
Yeah, they've gone into a zone, so I don't know when that would have been. Maybe after that, the next point they knew it was going to happen. Well organised.
Oh, smothered.
Smothered by Bennell. A behind would tie the scores up. They can't rush it. They might score the goal to win. Matera has been lurking. Russell! That could be the killer!
Oh, he's kicked it.
That could be the killer!
Oh, how good's that? Luke Russell's kicked 2 goals just before three-quarter time.
Young Pittard's had the ball smothered from the kick-in after he played onto himself.
Well, that's unbelievable. That is incredible. The Gold Coast players are absolutely jumping out of their skin at the moment. See the work the numbers got around this situation. And Luke Russell has just snuck that one in on the left boot. 2 important goals for Russell off the interchange bench.
Gold Coast by 5 points. Can you believe it?
Young Tasmania will be very happy in game number 2, Luke Russell.
They were 40 points down. Port Adelaide need a clearance. Thomas breaks free. Matt Thomas sends a long ball inside 50. No one there to mark it. It beats 5. Harbrow back of the pack. Needs to show some poise.
Oh, that's intentional.
Oh, baby!
Absolutely intentional.
You can't get away with that one.
Hitchcock.
He went to ground, which was probably his first mistake. Just had to keep the ball going in front.
Cameron Hitchcock takes the mouth guard out, tucks it in his sock, takes a breath, tries not to think about it, but then again has to think about it. Knows there can't be long left to give them back the lead. The banana are behind. But the Gold Coast still need to clear the area. We're down to 2 minutes and 9 seconds. The Gold Coast are 2 minutes and 9 seconds from glory.
It suggests there's time for one more goal from either side. So you need a goal to win.
You just need to make sure that they get the ball in the hands of their experienced players here.
Harbrow long. Tringo flies. Charlie Dixon, think about the boundary here and kept it alive. Dives back in. Precious seconds eaten up though. Stolen by Chaplin. Short. Toy. And he can take some more seconds off the clock.
Pickers in this team, probably Josh Toy's one of their experienced players. There's not many out there. They've been very good though.
Plays on. Thumps it long. Fraser, Trengove, Brennan. Flies, can't mark. Harris. Swallow got it from Fraser. The ball in with 1:32 left.
Good return from here.
Well, that's good as well. If you're going to dish the ball off, dish it off to the outside when you're in your back half still, so that it may result in a stoppage.
Got to block the back here and be where the space is going to be.
They're 90 seconds from history, the Gold Coast. Rolling
they're
ball.
away, goal.
Stanley over the top. Matera. He's kicked 4. Can't take control here. Stanley again. Breaks free. Bennell. He can clean it up. He can make it 10 points. Rolls it towards goal. Port Adelaide still in it.
Now they've got to set up their zone very quickly because this is a great opportunity for Port Adelaide to get a player on the fat side in space.
They've got to go down the middle. You've got to go down the middle, get your ruckman, numbers to the ball.
And the ruckman's down the middle,
Here it
carrying
is.
along.
Yeah.
Trengo. 5 points to margin. Trengove the target. Fraser with him. Off hands. Trengove, big hip and shoulder, and he rode it. Gives it to Boak. He sends it long. Modlop, one-on-one. Carmichael Hunt. He's got the big job, Hunt, and he goes to ground. Modlop led to behind. Hitchcock. He's missed.
Well, Trengove's down after the big hit in the centre after his very good work from the kick in, and Trengove looks to be in a fair amount of strife. See this, he dished off, it looked like he hit from Nathan Bock. I think it was the first contact from Nathan Bock that really dazed him.
45 seconds from the most remarkable story of the year, and play stops.
They've called for a stretcher here,
They
boys.
haven't stopped it yet. The umpire hasn't heard the call.
Gee, that's strange. So play continues, the clock continues, and the player is still down, and now they will call a stop to it. Surely with 35 seconds left, the umpire's going to ball it up here.
Well, they still haven't. The umpire doesn't know what to call. There's an umpire near Trengove.
They've got a signal that the stretcher is coming on.
Well, they did, but they've pulled it.
This is crazy stuff, but it's working for the Gold Coast. More seconds tick down.
Well, he's standing up now, boys, as you can see in the split screen. He's going to come off, so the stretcher won't make it onto the ground here.
Well, it's just left them one short. You might as well stop the game and get him off and get a replacement.
No doubt.
20 seconds, 7 seconds. Ball up, toe poke, out of the area. It might be coming back. Carlisle, little fumble, that might do it. Pettigrew, long ball, Westhoff!
He's grabbed it.
Huge grab!
In a massive players.
This will be on the siren unless he plays on. He will have the kick after the siren to win the game.
Well, the runner's gone to him now, and he's told him the situation. 2 seconds on the clock. There's the siren.
There it is.
What do you dream of this?
Yeah. Actually, this same end, I was in the same situation. I didn't have to kick the ball. Fitzroy Adelaide Pros many years ago.
This is his moment.
He's missed
out
it.
to the right.
They've won.
Glory lasts forever. The Gold Coast Suns have their first ever AFL win, and it's one we will never forget.
Oh, how good's that? Have a look at these excited bunch of players. I mean, they've been smashed over the last month, both midweek in the press and on the scoreboard, but that is an exciting win. They had so many good players, especially in the second half. Riscatelli was best on ground for mine, 31 disposals. Gary Ablett's had a very big week, one of his probably biggest weeks in football where there's been a lot of focus on him. His second half was unbelievable, and some youngsters have stepped up as well. Swallow, Matera, plenty to like about this team. Exciting day for them.
Well, we hear the first time we hear that song in a winning mode, don't we? The Gold Coast Suns. They were sensational. I thought Swallow was brilliant.
He was. So too was Gary Ablett in the second half. and he's downstairs with his manager.
Well, it's been a tough week, Gazza, but what a win. How's it feel?
It's an amazing feeling, you know. I mean, we're down by, around 20, 30 points most of the game, and the boys stuck to the structures. We knew if we did, we had a chance to get back in the game, and mate, it's just fantastic for these young boys, you know, to have that feeling of winning. It's great, man.
I was going to ask you, like, it was 40 points in the third quarter, Gazza, but you stuck to your structures, as you said. Your clearance work in particular was first class today as a group.
Mate, it's always been a big focus, especially the contested ball. I think we won the contested ball today, and the clearances, and the boys just stuck at it. I mean, there's so many 7, 8-year-old kids in there, and it's what we preach every week, to just stick at it, stick to the structures, and mate, it got us across the line today.
When did you actually believe you could win the game? When did you get that real sniff?
Mate, I believed for the last week we could win the game, but it got tough there early. Look, we were 20 to 30 points down, but we thought that was from silly mistakes. We talked about it at half-time, said if we stick to the structures and we don't turn the ball over and give them easy goals, we can get back in this game. So
we talked about your clearance work as a group, but it was Swallow. I think he had 11 or 12 possessions in the last quarter. Matera, 4 goals. Those young blokes you talk about.
Fantastic, mate. It's I guess it's a sign of champions. I mean, although they're young, to stand up when it's in the tough times and play some good football. In the last quarter when we need it, those boys are fantastic for us.
There were people that are saying that you weren't going to win a game for the whole year. It's round 4, you've already won one.
Come on now, you little ripper.
Well done, mate.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is just a joy to see. What a monkey off their back that is.
Oh, it's a massive win here. Looking at the Port Adelaide players, well, they're dejected, but they deserve this totally. Their clearance work was dominant from about 5 minutes into that quarter. And I think we said it. David Swallow's last quarter was as good a clearance game that I've seen for a long time. But players stood up. Charlie Dixon did his bit. Bennell was fantastic. Did a couple of little things there. Brandon Matera, he just had that little thing every quarter. He gave them a little snip that made them competitive.
They're about to take a photo for posterity here. Let's go downstairs. Guy McKenna.
Just here with Bluey, boys, and they've given the best player on the ground to Michael Riscatelli, as we can see here. Blue, while we're having a look at Risca, what a win.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, the boys, we spoke about the Anzac spirit. I've heard that through Mick for the last 5 or so years, and we wanted to bring some Gold Coast spirit to this ground. And, I think Risca typified that. He got cleaned up by friendly fire, mind you, with Carmichael, but he's been magnificent all year, and he soldiered on and a worthy winner. But the boys, they just had a crack, and you can't ask for any more, I don't reckon.
I asked Gary this. When did you actually believe you could win the game?
Well, probably when we pick the side, mate, as we do most weeks. But yeah, the boys just hung in. I mean, just a bit of, bad luck. We pressured, but they got some goals. And I asked the boys at one stage, what's the score? And we're 2 points down. I thought, I better start getting cranky. But no, they're fantastic. So, obviously we had a few heart-stopping moments, of course, in that last quarter. But full credit to the boys, mate. They're fantastic. What
about some of the younger players? I mean, they just play as 17, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. Experienced players, especially when the game was on the line in the last quarter.
Yeah, they probably got better as the game went on, which is a bit unusual almost. They bumbled and fumbled early, but you sort of expect that with some kids playing against men. But yeah, the longer the game, I don't know whether Port got tired, I don't know. But Junior Swallows last quarter was fantastic. Harley Bennell, Brandon Matera's two-handed effort in the last quarter. It set up Lukey Russell was really fantastic. That's him taking a step, and that's those small steps we got to take. And our big challenge is obviously next week.
Well done. I think everyone on the Gold Coast will be wrapped, and most people around the AFL, if you're not a Port Adelaide supporter, will be thrilled with the result. Well done.
Yeah, we are too, mate.
Guy McKenna with Liam Pickering. We've seen scenes of history-making jubilation before, but this is off the scale. Gold Coast by 3 points. And they are high-fiving. There's tears here.
There's an enormous amount of emotion. This young group, they've just experienced something that they'll probably never experience again until they get to that grand final last day in September. To get off the mark, it was a spirited come from behind victory. 40 points down late in that third term. Just a late goal in the third term. Just gave them a sniff at the turn. And they've come home. But they dominated in the tough clinches and the stoppages, which was the main thing.
Don't go away. We'll be back to wrap up. History was made at Amy today. Gold Coast, their first win in AFL footy.
Unbelievable scenes here at AAMI Stadium. The Gold Coast Suns have got their first victory in the AFL. They've run out victors by 3 points over Port Adelaide. They were trailing for most of the match. At one stage, late in the third quarter, they trailed by 40 points. But in the end, 15-14, 104, defeating Port Adelaide 15-11, 101 in what was a fantastic display by some of the young stars of the competition we're going to see over the next few years. Young Brandon Matera was fantastic up forward with 4 goals. Motlop was very good, especially early with 4. Hartlett and Chaplin were probably the best for Port Adelaide. Michael Riscatelli voted best on ground with 31 disposals. Gary Ablett, Brennan, especially in the second half, were outstanding for the Gold Coast Suns. Tony Shaw, we came here, like a lot of people, thought this is probably going to be a blowout. We hope to see maybe the Gold Coast Suns win a quarter and hold their own for most part of the game, but they were fantastic, especially in that second half.
Well, 6 goals, 5 in the last quarter, but it was just their midfield. Their clearance work was that clean that they then were able to get the ball forward and find some forwards. Brandon Matera kicked a goal nearly every quarter, I think it was. He kicked 2 in the last, first and second to keep him in the game, but oh, look, Andrew Swallow going into midfield. I think he had 14 possessions that last quarter. Here's Matera here. Just a bit of poise in the know. If I did handle over the top, maybe my teammate was going to be under pressure. But Gary Ablett's centre work, at the end, I just thought that they looked like they outran him. They outran him as a young player, where you'd think they might be the ones to feel the pinch. They were fantastic, the Gold Coast Suns, and mistakes like this were very costly.
Well, that's right. We saw the mistakes, the turnover mistakes in the first quarter from the Gold Coast Suns, which resulted in goals. In that last term, it was exactly the opposite. Port Adelaide seemed like they were under extreme pressure, and it came down to this. Yep. Justin Westhoff took a mark with about 10 seconds remaining. Siren's gone, and obviously he's missed. That's very disappointing for him in Port Adelaide, but the scenes for the Gold Coast Suns has been electric. Very sombre scenes in the Port Adelaide room. They came off Showdown 30 last week in great spirits. They bounced back after being down in the first term, and they would have gone in with a lot of confidence, but so often we see after the showdowns, teams just don't bounce back. They really struggle in that week after those big games.
Well, physically, it is one of the hardest games, they say, and they came back from a 6-goal deficit at nearly quarter time. So, look, you've got to give credit to the Suns. They kept at the contest. You thought it was over, but I think it was 6 goals, 5 to 1 goal in the last quarter. So they had a total dominance. And this man, I just thought, they started him in the forward line at just after half time. When he went onto the ball, the game changed. He kicked that goal from outside 50 from a centre bounce clearance. And as I said, Swallow went in. Riscatelli deserved to win the medal today because I thought he was good all day, especially when they run to the pump in the first half.
Yeah, he was magnificent in the first half with 18 disposals. Gary Ablett, as you said, was very good in that second half. But they had likes of Matera. I mean, even Russell came off for the sub spot and kicked one late in the third term, one late in the quarter. Jared Brennan. We probably were a bit critical of him with some of his disposals in that first half, but he stood up as well. And the big men, like Charlie Dixon, a couple of clunking marks in the last quarter. So they'll be just over the moon with this effort and the result, which has resulted in a win.
I just wonder whether they knew the song. I don't know whether they would have got a piece of paper saying, this is the song, boys. We go. I thought Bock was good early. He hurt his knee. Looked like he mightn't have come back after half time, but he was just the senior player they needed in the back half. And they run to the pump a lot of times in their back half, especially with Daniel Motlop, who kicked 4 goals. I think it was all in the up to 3/4 time. So he was quiet in the last quarter. But we've seen history, and it's an amazing thing. But it's just to see the joy on the face of those young players was brilliant.
It was a fantastic scenes here at AAMI Stadium. That's all we got time for, but it's been an historic time here at AAMI Stadium. The Gold Coast Suns, and if you don't know what the Suns song is, which I'm not real sure either, have a listen to this. They're pretty happy down there.